Football, Reborn talent becomes the sport's third pole. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 46. At the same time, Flamingo did not have Ronaldo playing. The home game won 2-1 and away it drew 1-1. Flamengo's away game, in a 4-5-1 formation, placed all the troops in midfield, in order to draw the game. After all, Flamengo have won the game at home, and as long as they keep the away game drawn, then they are the winners. Facing the Flamenco cone defense, Sarah, led by the striker, launched several fierce attacks, but in the end it was all resolved by Flamenco. The first half ended 0-0. As soon as the second half came on, Flamengo launched an attack on the right side of Reborn. Reborn lowered the ball to the goal, and Brunel followed up with a high-head hammer in front of the goal and smashed the ball into the net. The score came to 1-0. Faced with a huge disadvantage, in the 67th minute, Sarah launched an attack on the right flank, and his teammate crossed the ball in front of the goal. The Sarah defender didn't kick far with his heel, and the alert Sarah striker unloaded the ball with his thigh in the box. This is followed by a volley with his right foot, and the ball flies straight into the top left corner of the goal, like a cannonball. 1-1. The Sarah striker kissed the token and prayed to God after scoring the goal, and then he hugged his teammates to celebrate. Although Sarah struggled to equalize the scoreline, time was running out on the field. If you can't score another goal, you're totally out. Behind the trail, Sarah also launched a crazy counterattack against Flamingo. Although the Sarah attack was fierce, Flamingo was stubborn on the defensive end, make Sarah invulnerable. Finally, the referee blew the whistle for the end of the game, and the score was completely locked at 1-1. Flamengo advances to the Final Four. Fantastic! Chen Fong clenched his fists, very excited. Flamengo enters the semi-finals, and there is a high probability that Ronaldo will play. After all, this match with Sarah is enough to show that Flamengo's tactics are exhausted, and the strength has also reached its peak. Xiao Luo has not played since he returned to South America. Once on the field, it is bound to make fans sigh full of feelings, and Chen Fong will also successfully fulfill his wishes. Of course, if Flamengo reaches the final at the same time as Lrina, then the championship match of the Brazilian Cup will become a hot spot in football, and even leave the Liberation Cup behind. At the same time, in the Brazil Cup goal scorer list, Chen Fong won the top scorer list with 22 goals in 5 games, a full 10 more balls than the second place. It's the righteous shooter king. In the assist list of the Brazil Cup, Chen Fong also led the assist list with 13 assists in 5 games. There will also be an assist king. Chen, congratulations, this year's Copa del Pazel Golden Ball, Golden Boot, Top Scorer, Best Assist King and Best Player will all be yours. Xiao He grinned, his white teeth flashing with dazzling light. Thank you. Chen Fong smiled indifferently and did not take this too seriously. After all, the Europa League is now the center stage of world football. The big clubs in football are also concentrated in the continent, and the 5 major leagues are among the leaders. Most of the eyes of the world are on the European arena. As for the Brazil Cup, at best, it is just a small fight. Xiao He, you and Walter still have to hurry up training, you must not stop, otherwise our next game may be very difficult. After Xiao He heard this, he said, don't worry, we know. The Copa Brazil is also nearing its end. The Baja Liga has begun to unfold. In full swing, the major Baja Liga giants are in full swing, and the fans are also watching the adrenaline rush, shouting that it is too exciting. In order for Lrina to win the next match, head coach Koscielny also arranged assistant coach Pardo to train the team members for the Devil. Mainly for Blackie and Walter. After all, as a trident, Chen Fong is too prominent. If the comprehensive strength of Xiao He and Walter cannot go up, then the upper limit of the trident will not be able to steadily increase. Although the influence of the Baja Liga is not as influential as the Cup of Brazil, the participating teams are all veteran teams of the Baja Liga, and there are up to 38 rounds of double round-robin matches. Compared to the Copa do Brasil, the league is longer and more stressful. There is no off-season in between, and playing 4 rounds a month is the basic amount, so the test for the players is also very big. As a core member of the team, Chen Fong also knew that it was impossible to let him play every game. That's too much pressure. A week later, it was officially welcome to Lrina against Corinthians. Corinthians are a Baja giant, nicknamed Torpedo Boat. De Luo returned to South America and joined Corinthians, making Corinthians gain countless fans overnight and become famous overseas. Historically, they have won the Baja Liga 4 times, the Copa de Pausa 3 times, the Sao Paulo State Serie A 26 times, and the Club World Cup 1 time. It's a lot of awards. Has Roberto Carlos, who has played in Serie A and La Liga. Roberto Carlos has won 1 World Cup for his national team and club, 2 Copa America titles, 3 UEFA Champions League titles, 4 La Liga titles, and many other honors. He was once considered the best left-back in the world, and the outside world called him a cannon defender. Long runs and powerful shots on free kicks can often make opponents shudder. Central midfielder Elias has also been selected for the Brazilian national team. Elias is 178 meters tall and has average speed, but is technically good and uses his left foot. Striker Caesar is known for his agility and swiftness. That's Chen Fong? Before going on the field, the starters of the two teams walked into the stadium in turn, and Carlos glanced at the yellow-skinned Chen Fong on the other side and asked. Central midfielder Elias on the side said, "Yes, I watched him play in the Copa Brazil and it was really fierce." Fierce? As soon as he heard this word, a disdainful expression appeared at the corner of Carlos's mouth. He is a gun defender, and when it comes to long-distance assists and ultra-long-range shooting, he considers himself the first in Brazil, and no one dares to call him second. Even Xiao Luo can't compare with it. Carlos' skills originated in European style, and he has been playing in Europe for nearly 2 decades, and the most annoying thing is the person who plays acrobatics on the court. That kid has a leg with a horse, right? Otherwise, why are their styles so similar? The player I hate the most in my life is the horse, and every time I see him doing acrobatics on the court, I can't wait to strangle him, Carlos said with a look of anger. Although Carlos is only 167 centimeters tall, he weighs 67 kilograms and is very stout. Of course, the strength is also incomparable. Last time Lrina played against Palmeiras, Calca and Chen Fong were 1v1, and the result was shown by Chen Feng's kid. When Carlos heard this, his face changed drastically. What? You said Calca was shown by this kid? Carlos naturally knows Calca quite well, also from Serie A, although in terms of football achievements, Calca is still worse than Carlos, but Calca is also very good. It seems that I have to help Calca take revenge on this, and I can't let our European football lose face. Episode 47. Chen Fong naturally also aimed at Carlos, who had thick thighs. As one of the Grand Slam superstars, Carlos was known as the god of war, with violent aesthetics at his peak. It's just that it's long gone. After his peak in 2002, Carlos' form declined rapidly. He returned to the Brazilian league last year and joined Corinthians. According to the original trajectory of history, Carlos will soon choose to retire. The reason why Carlos returned to the Brazilian league and joined Corinthians is the same as Xiao Luo's intention. However, a superstar is a superstar after all, and although Carlos has declined in form, he still has the power of 60% at his peak. The strength is still not to be underestimated. Fortunately, Corinthians chose to participate in the Copa Libertadores this year, so he gave up the Copa Brazil. Otherwise, Lrina will have to face another battle. After the referee blew the whistle, Corinthians got the ball. Striker Caesar showed his swift side, dribbling the ball into the heart of the box. Facing Lrina's human wall defense, Caesar kicked straight to Carlos behind him. As soon as Carlos got the ball, tens of thousands of fans in the stands cheered. They were shouting Carlos' name like crazy. In contrast, Chen Feng's fan shouts were completely covered. No way, this is the prestige of the world superstar. Although Chen Fong has risen to prominence in Brazilian football and has the title of Samba King, but in world football, Chen Fong is still unknown. After all, whether it is the Baja Liga, the Copa Brazil or the Copa Liberation, the influence in world football is far less than the top competition of the European League. There's no way around it. Carlos showed his super offensive ability after taking the ball, and he is a little old. Clean, neat lateral dribbling after dangling several defenders. There is still a considerable distance from the penalty area, facing Lrina's chase and blocking. Carlos actually chose to volley. Despite being outside the box, Carlos is still very powerful. The ball flew towards the net nest in a strange flight trajectory. Seeing this, Lrina's goalkeeper predicted in advance and flew towards the corner, but the next scene made everyone present speechless. The ball that flew to the corner area was actually scored in an S shape. Lrina's goalkeeper was full of confusion and actually pounced. Is this the true strength of superstars? Isn't there a rumor in the entire football world that Carlos' strength has fallen alarmingly? Why can you still play such a treacherous style? The score was 1-0, and Carlos gave Corinthians the lead in the opening game. Carlos. All the fans in the audience burst into tears at this moment, completely falling into madness, and they shouted heartbreakingly, as if Carlos was back in his peak in 2002. Chen Fong didn't expect Carlos to be so fast, and he was a defender who became a shadow striker in Corinthians. And just a minute before the opening, Carlos single-handedly volleyed Lrina's entire team. Chen Fong was dumbfounded. The game continued, Lrina's possession of the ball, and Blackie began to press towards the opponent's penalty area after taking the ball. Chen Fong suddenly ran at great speed, grabbed a big gap, and raised his hand to Xiao He to signal the pass. But when Xiao He was about to pass it straight to Chen Fong, Carlos, who had been planning for a long time on the right wing, actually kicked a clean tackle, accurately cut the ball. Then when Xiao He was dumbfounded, he dashingly turned around and gave the ball a long pass to central midfielder Elias. Fuck. Xiao He was so angry that he was furious. Chen Feng's heart was full of shock. Carlos was also too strong. You must know that his current strength is less than 60% of his peak. Despite only 60% remaining, Carlos easily showed off his superstar's top skills. Although in Europe, Carlos can only stay on the bench, but in the Brazilian league, Carlos can still kill everywhere. You can imagine how awesome Carlos was at his peak. Thinking of this, Chen Feng's desire to go to the European arena is even more urgent. Sure enough, the skinny camel is bigger than the horse. Chen Fong secretly sighed. After central midfielder Elias took the ball, he launched a fierce attack. It can be seen that Corinthians just want to violently suppress Lrina at the beginning and completely suppress their self-confidence. After all, Lrina has just been promoted from the second league and has very little experience in the league. As long as it is dealt a heavy blow, Lrina will definitely collapse. The Corinthians are on the offensive too fiercely. Lrina suddenly felt extremely suffocated. Terrifying pressure, terrifying transmission and cut. Elias made a fake fax buckle, deceived the defenders, and shot straight with a straight kick. Fortunately, the angle was deflected. The ball hit the door frame. Walter and Carlos jumped up at the same time to grab the ball, and their bodies collided in an instant. Although the two are not much different in age, facing Carlos' strong body, Walter was powerless, shoulder bumping. Carlos was unharmed, but Walter was in pain and almost broke a bone. Immediately, Carlos was like a sharp sword, constantly impacting Lrina's back line, tenacity, and constantly tearing gaps. Chen Fong and Xiao He had to repeatedly return to the restricted area to save the danger. At one point, the goal was in crisis. Carlos tore open the gap. He was ready to shoot, and this cold shot was quite threatening. Striker Caesar goes into a rib gap. He quickly passed several defenders. Face the goalkeeper. Aye. It's a pity that the ball is deflected. Carlos again. If it is really a sword that is not old, accelerate the start, and actually eat the defender raw. Kick up and blast. Woo, it's so dangerous. Fortunately, Chen Fong pushed the ball out with a header. Central midfielder Elias. Frontal lateral dribbling, dangling past 5 at once. This is not taking Lrina's players seriously at all. A powerful long-range shot was knocked out of the line by the goalkeeper. The angle opened. Carlos launched a fierce attack again. Wow. During this time, Lrina was all on the defensive, and he didn't even touch the opponent's penalty area, as if the attack was completely muted, so the situation was very unfavorable for Lrina. Thousands of miles away, the commentator of the Dragon Kingdom, Lucci, is passionately and nervously explaining the Spagia match. Since Corinthians signed superstar Carlos, it attracted millions of people in the Dragon Kingdom to pay attention to this match. Therefore, Chen Fong entered the field of vision of more Dragon Kingdom fans. Who said that Lrina's striker is strong? Why is it that you are beaten to no chance now? Don't guess, Chen Fong is only of Chinese-Brazilian descent. He has only been in the Dragon Country for 11 years, and I know everything about him. Chen Fong plays flashy Samba football. Facing a low-level team, he can play acrobatics like a lively one, but in the face of a powerful superstar like Carlos, he is dumb. Yes, originally I became a fan of Chen Fong, but I didn't expect his ball skills to be like that. Looking at this, Lrina will lose, although I am looking forward to Lrina's victory in the Copa Brazil. Meanwhile, millions of fans in Brazil, most of them Carlos fans, are watching the match. Carlos returned to South America and signed for Corinthians, but has only played until now. Corinthians lost 2-0 to Tolima from the El Dorado in the Copa Libertadores qualifiers, so they are eager to win the game, to prove themselves, and boost morale. Episode 48. It's over, it's over. Xiao He was originally a defensive central defender Elias, but his physical consumption was too great to keep up with Elias. At halftime, he was exhausted. Blackie collapsed weakly on the ground, looking at the sky of Lrina. The hustle and bustle of the stadium echoes in your ears, and this moment is like a dream. Brother Hey, are you okay? Cheering up, Sandra watched from the stands. As soon as he heard Sandra's name, Xiao He's eyes suddenly lit up, and his combat effectiveness skyrocketed. Got up and patted his butt, grinned, and a mouthful of big white teeth sparkled. I'm okay, get ready to tea. Chen Fong patted Xiao He's shoulder. I have to say that this is the most difficult game Chen Fong has encountered since he came to Brazil to play. Of course, there may be more difficult ones in the future, such as Flamingo with Xiao Luo and Santos where the horse is located. Chen Fong has become more and more aware that football is a game of 11. With his current strength, he is almost unable to bring Lrina. The next thing is to do your best to show off on the field, even if you pay the biggest price, and strive to win the Copa Brazil and the Baja Liga. Think about going to Club Europe later. Everyone cheered up. The final whistle did not sound. We all have a chance. Pick up the spirit and continue to fight. Roar. Rush. Encouraged by Chen Feng's leadership, the Lrina team members also responded. There are 5 minutes left in the first half. Lrina kicked off. Xiao He got the ball, dribbled all the way to throw off 2 defenders, and passed to Chen Fong. As soon as Chen Fong took the ball, Carlos followed, intending to guard him tightly. In front of me, see what other acrobatics you can do. Carlos had a faint mockery in his eyes. As a rookie, Chen Fong has indeed left a strong mark in the Brazilian league, but in the eyes of world superstar Carlos, it is just a trick. Although a native footballer in Brazil, Carlos admired European football as a child. His style of play has always been explosive, fast, and powerful. Just when Chen Fong was thinking about what ball technique to use to make a breakthrough, 2 gifts suddenly appeared in his mind. It was the rainbow passing and the oxtail passing people. Rainbow overwhelmed? This provocation is also too strong. Chen Fong is facing the world superstar Carlos. No matter how he says it, he must respect the elderly, which is the basic moral code of professional football. Playing a rainbow on the old man who is about to retire, even if Chen Fong does not blame himself, it is estimated that he will be sprayed to death by the fans after the game. So Chen Fong chose the ox's tail to pass people. I saw Chen Fong gluing the ball to the surface of his right foot to pick the ball. The moment the center of gravity of Carlos' body changed, Chen Fong quickly kicked back in the opposite direction. I thought I had dumped Carlos. Who knew that when Chen Fong kicked back in the opposite direction, Carlos actually adjusted his center of gravity instantly, without Chen Fong paying attention at all. His right foot deftly broke the ball. Lrina fan? Chen Fong? At this moment, Chen Feng's heart had 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping past. After coming to Brazil to play so many games, this is the first time that the opponent has lost the ball when playing Samba skills. Chen Fong was so angry that his face was red, and he was speechless in an instant. Boy, don't play acrobatics in front of me. Carlos showed a contemptuous smile, then suddenly accelerated to dribble the ball, dribbled sideways all the way front, dangled past several defenders, and shot straight at goal. The ball once again shot into the net in a treacherous arc, and the goalkeeper completely pounced in the other direction. The score is 2-0. The first half of the game is over. At this moment, the fans of Lrina in the stands sighed. Just now, Chen Feng's oxtail passing Tianxiu was actually interrupted by Carlos. I originally thought that this would be a key part of Lrina's turnover, but I didn't expect it to be a happy one. Meanwhile, Corinthians fans were completely boiling. They chanted the name of their idol Carlos, raised their hands and pressed down, making a gesture of worship. Even some female fans began to make indecent undressing poses. They seem to have completely forgotten that this is a public place where tens of thousands of people are located, just celebrating Carlos' goal. I have to say that after the peak period in 2002, it is rare to see Carlos so brave again. At this moment, Chen Fong was also completely stunned. Isn't the system allowing itself to make a cow's tail pass? Why was it cut off by Carlos? Could it be that the system will also pit people? One by one, Lrina's players were like defeated roosters. After getting off the field, head coach Koshiri said, "Don't be discouraged, you've done a really good job. Although Corinthians are 2 goals ahead, we are not completely out of chance. Coach, Corinthians are too strong, we have no chance to counterattack, we are in our own penalty area most of the time." The veteran Walter put forward his opinion with his head down. That is, even Chen can't show up, this game is completely out of suspense. Blackie echoed suit. Koscielny showed a smile and said meaningfully, "No, I don't see it that way. Although Carlos is a world superstar, he is now only at his peak at best. In the second half, we will fight around Chen Fong and sacrifice the tactics of 10 guarantees and 1. Corinthians got the ball, we put out a 451 tactic to defend all the players, and did our best so that they couldn't get in. As long as we get the ball, we will give it to Chen Fong and let him show to his heart's content. I believe Carlos can break once, break twice, and there will always be a time when he can't break." As a veteran coach, Koscielny can see the clue at a glance. He previously asked assistant coach Pardo to count Chen Feng's goal statistics. Combined with the study of game video, Koscielny was puzzled to find that as long as Chen Fong used his Samba skills on the field and showed off, he could score all kinds of incredible fairy balls. Once Tianxiu, the conversion rate of Chen Feng's shot can reach an incredible 100%. For example, once Lrina versus Palmeiras, Chen Fong sacrificed many years of stunt pendulum crossing, followed by a super long-range shot. No matter how miraculously Chen Fong did it, this needs to be studied in the future, and the priority is to ensure 10 guarantees and 1 and let Chen Fong show up again. Okay, we got it. The players spoke in unison, as if the dawn of victory was beckoning to them. Episode 49. At the beginning of the second half, Lrina's whole team was like a chicken blood, and he rose again. Corinthians kicked off the ball, and as soon as Carlos got the ball, he once again showed his super attacking ability. Starting from the left flank that he is good at, he dribbled sideways past several defenders, break into the Lrina penalty area. Lrina quickly sacrificed the 451 formation, like a cone barrel, showing a solid defense. Seeing this, Carlos had to kick back and pass to central midfielder Elias. Elias shot with his left foot in place, the angle was not mastered, and the ball hit the frame steadily. After rebounding, Chen Fong jumped high and headed the ball out. Walter, who was in a big gap, flew with the ball and crossed the opponent's penalty area. Facing Corinthians' defense, Walter passed to Chen Fong with a side kick. As soon as Chen Fong got the ball, Carlos followed again and kept a strict eye on the defense. I saw Chen Feng's right foot take a step forward and his body tilted to the right, then take another step forward with the left foot and shift the center of gravity of the body to the left. In the continuous shaking of his body and center of gravity, Carlos was also stunned. Click. Although Chen Feng's knees made a clicking noise again, a sharp pain came, but Chen Fong couldn't care about the pain anymore, and now he just wanted to shake Carlos and shoot straight into the door again. However, Carlos has long seen through all this. Although he didn't expect that Chen Fong could actually perform De Luo stunt pendulum in such a high-pressure competition. But no, he used to be teammates with De Luo for Real Madrid, and the two have a very good relationship. Although Carlos can't show off the pendulum in the arena, he knows the principle of this stunt. See Chen Fong together, Carlos has already guessed the ending, which is the world superstar's keen sense of smell and super premonition. Although Chen Fong had changed the speed of his left and right feet, but it still couldn't escape Carlos's eyes. But in an instant, when Chen Feng's center of gravity shifted to the left, Carlos came to Chen Feng's left as if he was hanging up. Let Chen Feng's pendulum pass people into a pendulum in place. Want to do acrobatics in front of me? Sorry, you're still too tender. Carlos showed a contemptuous expression again. Fuck. Chen Fong was furious. This Carlos is inevitably too perverted, he can even crack the pendulum, it's too evil, right? Chen Feng's face was full of anger. At the moment, he just wants to win the game and can no longer care about the so-called player work ethic. It's Carlos who is too ruthless, don't blame him for disrespecting the old man. The next moment, Chen Fong suddenly turned sharply in place and accelerated to the right. Carlos stepped forward to encircle. Chen Fong turned around and exploded, ran wildly with the ball, and threw Carlos almost perfectly in a 180-degree roundabout. This was followed by a 30-meter-long frontal lateral dribble, which swung past several defenders all the way to the Corinthians' penalty area. Oops. Elias realized that the situation was not good and led people to surround it. Facing the pockets of three central defenders, Chen Fong chose to forcibly break through and kill a bloody road. In the case of a siege in the front and a pursuer in the rear, Chen Fong once again showed off his Samba skills, turned around and pulled the ball with his right foot, and with his left foot, he fooled all the defenders. Xiao Haixin understood, inserted a single knife, and shot the ball into the net with one kick. The score is 2-1. Chen Feng's 180-degree rotation straight plug plus 30-meter super long dribbling was shocking, and he sent a single knife to Xiao Hei. In an instant, all the Lrina fans present went completely crazy. You know, from the beginning of this game to now, 60 minutes have passed. Lrina has been forced to breathe, and fans have not been given a chance to breathe, until this wave, Chen Fong has completely regained his feelings. Groove? This single slap is simply a ball of gods. Chen, that's a beep. It's really powerful. Chen, dry Corinthian and retire Carlos. This single knife sent by Chen will surely be recorded in the history of football forever. It's unimaginable, it's incredible, I didn't expect that in this high-pressure state, Chen could actually show up. It's too tough, this goal is too hard to score. Chen once again sacrificed the De Luo stunt pendulum, and his knee seemed to be injured. At this moment, I only hope that Chen Bei will be injured, and as for the game, I will do my best. 180-degree slalom plus 30 meters long single belt, Chen once again refreshed my cognitive. Lrina pulled a ball back, infuriating all the Corinthians players. Their goal was a clean sheet against Lrina, who actually let them score a goal. This cannot be tolerated, absolutely cannot be tolerated. Carlos' eyes were gloomy, and the anger in his heart made him almost lose his mind, and he felt that he was greatly insulted. A rookie kid actually succeeded in front of him? Or is it a 180-degree rotation and straight forward, such a difficult skill, this kid actually plays so flowing. What the hell? After Carlos took the ball, he once again launched a ferocious attack on Lrina. After shaking a few more defenders, he faced Lrina's cone barrel blockade. Carlos did not choose to pass the ball, but physically confronted the defenders with a strong and domineering body. This proved the incomparably angry emotions in his heart. Two defenders were knocked to the ground during the confrontation. Since there was no opponent who did not touch the ball, the referee also saw that Carlos was a world superstar, and never blew the whistle of the violation. Chen Fong, who saw all this in his eyes, felt that he could not bear it anymore, and he must launch a counterattack to protect Lrina's dignity. Chen Fong suddenly accelerated and rushed in front of Carlos. Don't you want to fight physically? Have the ability to come at me. Don't think that I respect you as an old man, you rely on the old and sell the old so unscrupulously? Is it unbearable? Chen Fong used the power of the Overlord and collided with Carlos' body. The next scene left Carlos completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect that Chen Fong, who seemed thin and weak, was like a copper wall and an iron wall, and he couldn't hit it at all. And the counter impact on himself is so great that he has not faced this situation even in the top European competition. After all, he is known for his strong confrontation. Chen Fong exerted his strength angrily, because his anger was too great, he did not converge the power of the Overlord. Under a physical confrontation, Carlos was actually hit on the ground, and the whole person fell heavily to the ground, and the back of his head also hit the ground. Rumble. Carlos grinned in pain and couldn't get up holding his head. The referee immediately blew the whistle of the violation and gave Chen Fong a yellow card after walking over. Chen Fong didn't bother to care. Without teaching Carlos a lesson, he really thought he was still in his prime. The team doctor immediately stepped forward to check Carlos' injuries. The back of his head was on the ground, and there was already an obvious hematoma. There is a high probability of bleeding in the brain, so I can only replace him. The fans of Carlos were furious, angrily accusing Chen Fong of disrespecting the world superstar, and actually made a black hand. They are obviously talking nonsense with their eyes open. It is clear that Carlos first relies on the old and sells the old and bullies people. Lrina's fans were not convinced and angrily sprayed the opposing fans. At this time, the grandstand became a mess of porridge, and the fans of the two teams even began to fight together. The staff quickly ran over and finally persuaded the frame. The game continues. Without Carlos Corinthians, the combat effectiveness plummeted in an instant, and once the main heart bone was missing, the formation of the entire team dispersed. Chen Fong launched a ferocious attack, perfectly showing off top Samba skills such as rainbow passing, pulling the ball through the crotch, etc., and playing Corinthian defenders between applause. Chen Fong volleyed into the air and scored a goal. The score came to 2-2. Xiao He made a brilliant straight pass, Chen Fong hung the golden hook upside down, and showed the whole game again. Brace! The score came to 3-2. The whistle sounded at the end of the game, and Lrina defeated his arch-rival Corinthians. The fans were completely crazy, and the female fans rushed to the arena one by one to hug Chen Fong. Episode 50. After the loss, Corinthians suffered a big blow. When the coaches and players of the Corinthians arrived at the club's training ground, they were fiercely attacked by the fans and even stoned. And Carlos began to receive a lot of anonymous threatening phone calls on the day of the game. The so-called would show in the forest wind will destroy. Carlos's superstar aura is too dazzling, and after returning to South America, countless fans have high hopes for him. Countless fans have bet their entire net worth on the spinach plate. I thought it was a must-win game without suspense, but I didn't expect to lose it with a big bang. To the disappointment of Carlos fans, countless fans who bet on their entire wealth went bankrupt. Although Carlos went out, he hired a lot of personal bodyguards, but Carlos fears for his safety and that of his family. In order to eliminate the anger of the public, Carlos had to announce his retirement in advance. Exit sadly. The era that belonged to Carlos was completely over. Meanwhile, a week later, Lrina played the semi-finals of the Copa de Lrina de Leba. Lrina vs Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama's strength is one cut worse than that of Corinthians. After his first game against Corinthians, Lrina gained a wealth of experience and raised his skills to a whole level. The morale was like a rainbow at the beginning. Lrina kicked off, and Walter rubbed the ball lightly to Chen Fong, who had inserted it. Chen Fong pulled out his foot and shot from a distance, and the ball drew a beautiful arc and went directly to the bottom of the goal net. The score is 1-0. Lrina leads by 1 goal. After this, Lrina firmly controlled the initiative of the scene. In the 60th minute, Chen Fong took the ball like a butterfly through 5 people, perfect stop plus volley side hook, scored twice. The score came to 2-0. The game reached 90 minutes, 5 minutes of stoppage time. In the 4th minute of stoppage time, Vasco da Gama centre-back swung an own goal to give Lrina a 3-0 victory. Meanwhile, Flamingo played Avaí in the semi-finals. Ronaldo remained a substitute and did not play, but Flamingo still maintained an overwhelming advantage. In the first half, the two teams attacked each other and scored a goal each. But in the second half, Flamingo launched a fierce attack, and Avaí lost and ended the game 3-1. According to the post-match statistics, Flamengo's possession rate is 56%, the number of shots is 14 in the whole game, and he has scored 3 goals. Away team Avaí, on the other hand, had 44% possession, 11 shots on goal and 1 goal. A week later, both teams played away games at the same time. Corinthians without Carlos are like eagles without wings, and they can't suppress Chen Feng's play at all. In the end, Chen Fong once again had 5 sons to end the game 5-0, single-handedly lifted Lrina to the final of the Copa de Bibashan. At the same time, Flamengo locked the score at 1-1 after a difficult battle and successfully advanced to the final. A week later, the Copa do Brasil will face the final of the Copa de la Londrina, who will face the powerhouse Flamengo. And the starting list of Flamengo has been announced, and Xiao Luo is among them. The moment of great attention is coming, and countless Xiao Luo fans are looking forward to it. You must know that since Xiao Luo returned to South America, countless fans have begun to watch the Flamenco match, just to see Xiao Luo's figure running in the arena again. After waiting for half a year, fans have waited too hard, and now they see Xiao Luo in the starting list, wearing Xiao Luo's jersey 1x1 banner supporting Xiao Luo in the streets, shouting his name. And the final of the Copa Liberation has started ahead of schedule, with Penarol from Uruguay against Santos. A week ago, home Penarol against away Santos. The two teams played 0-0 in the first leg. Now, Santos is at home against away Penarol. Throughout the first half, Santos held control of the arena, although the horses led their teammates in several ferocious attacks. However, Penarol's defense was indestructible, and several attacks were unsuccessful. In the second half, before Penarol was in shape, Santos suddenly made a move. The brilliant passing cooperation of Aroca and Ganso instantly tore through Penarol's defenses. The horse that goes straight and pushes the entry. The score came to 1-0. After scoring a goal, Santos played more and more smoothly, and in the 69th minute, they once again showed their strong individual ability. Right back Danilo still sent the ball into Penarol's door while the opponent was close to the defense. However, Santos, who are 2 goals ahead, have suffered a bit, and this also gives Penarol a chance. Penarol launched a fierce attack, with midfielder Albin helping Penarol recover 1 point. The final aggregate score was locked at 2-1. Santos won the Copa Libertadores for the first time after 48 years. The Horses, on the other hand, won the best player and top scorer in the Copa Libertadores, and became Brazil's hottest star. At the end of the Copa Libertadores, Santos returned from Uruguay to actively prepare for the Baja Liga. Know that the next opponent they face is Lrina, who has just been promoted to the Baja Liga and shines in the Copa Brazil. Lrina? Chen Fong? Mar was shocked in his heart. You must know that in addition to participating in the Liberation Cup, Mar has been paying attention to Chen Feng's movements. This yellow-skinned, thin Lrina striker actually plays gorgeous and soulless samba football, just like him. What's even more shocking is that every time he plays, he can show extremely high samba skills and show the whole game. In the first game of the Baja Liga, Lrina, led by Chen Fong, actually overturned the Corinthians led by Carlos, which once shocked him. When Ma learned that the stunt he had painstakingly studied for many years was brilliant, but it was played by Chen Fong in the arena, he was in great pain for a while. After every game Chen Fong, he did not miss it, although this kid's samba skills did not reach the point of extreme silkiness, but he was not below him. It can even be said on top of yourself. You must know that with the retirement of De Luo, Xiao Luo returned to South America to face retirement, and the horse was known as the last samba dancer by the outside world. This year was originally his generous and radiant moment, but he didn't expect to be robbed of the limelight by a fledgling brat. When Ma got Chen Feng's detailed personal information, he learned that Chen Fong had been in the Dragon Kingdom for 11 years and had never participated in any youth training. After coming to play in the Bahia League, he was like a god, showing the Bahia Second League and the Brazilian Cup. It's incredible. Could it be that his samba skills came out of nowhere? I don't believe there can be such a genius in the world. In the next Baja match, I must show Chen Fong every day and let him know that I am the real Samba King. The horse's teeth crunched, and he slammed his fist on the table, and a sharp light flashed in his gloomy eyes. At the same time, Flamengo Player Lounge, superstar Ronaldo Jr. saw Lrina reach the finals of the Copa Brazil under the leadership of Chen Fong, and is about to compete with Flamengo for the Copa Brazil title. A satisfied smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He knew that his strength had encountered Waterloo, and he was long gone, and at most he only had the peak 5 success power. Even if he plays, he is not very sure that he will win this game. This should be my last game. Even if you lose, you will lose to the future Samba King, which is actually a good thing. There are talented people in Jiangshan generation, and a new generation of people replace the old people. Episode 51, Brazil Cup Championship Match. Chen Fong vs Xiao Luo. In the first leg of the Copa do Brasil final, Flamengo played at home against away Lrina. Countless fans poured into the stadium a few hours in advance. In order to cheer for the Flamengo team, a large number of fans began to set off fireworks in the stadium that can produce a lot of smoke, accompanied by a heat wave of shouts and cheers. The roar of the fireworks instantly sounded, billowing smoke began to fill the stadium, once shrouded the entire stadium. Ronaldinho. Champion, Xiao Luo. Champion, Xiao Luo. Champion. The stadium echoed with the cheers of Xiao Luo fans in the sky. I have to say that this is the great influence of world superstar Xiao Luo. And Lrina's fans did not think of setting off fireworks in the stadium, and could only do their best to shout, but because the number of people was much smaller than the opponent, the shouting was suppressed for a while. The first leg of the Brazilian Cup Championship final officially began, and Chen Fong and Xiao Luo walked into the stadium as starters respectively. As soon as Xiao Luo appeared, he waved enthusiastically to the fans in the stands and greeted them. With this action alone, tens of thousands of fans in the stands stood up passionately and exploded the entire football stadium. Chen Fong remained silent all the way. After all, in front of the idol, he really didn't have the capital to show off. Unexpectedly, in the next second, Xiao Luo actually raised his eyes to look at Chen Fong, and then revealed a knowing smile. This smile came from the heart, frank and sincere, and it was clearly an encouragement to Chen Fong. Countless fans witnessed this scene and were completely dumbfounded. You must know that this is the top event in Brazil. Before the competition for the championship life and death, as an opponent, Xiao Luo actually gave the opposing striker a smile of encouragement? This is also illogical. Historically, this has been rare in the arena. Although Xiao Luo is a Grand Slam superstar, there is indeed no shortage of this Brazil Cup trophy, but you must know that his peak has passed, and now he is back in South America, and he urgently needs a match to prove himself to the world. He is still the Samba elf in that arena. It's just incredible. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, fans wouldn't have believed it to be true. This can only show that Xiao Luo's heart has been deep and still, and he has completely completed the transformation of a football star into a superstar. After all, for Xiao Luo, winning or losing the game is not the most important thing. What is more important is the inheritance and promotion of Samba football. Ding, discover the new stadium Maracana Stadium, get 500 dream points. Congratulations on getting a total of 5,000 dream points. Unlock 2 new columns. The dream store opens. Reward an S-level suppression anti-show skill card, and an A-level intermediate face value card. Note, the level of the face value card is divided into low level, medium level, high level, and top notch, which can enhance the appearance value. The dream shop redeems dream points for magical items. Suppress anti-show cards. The host is suppressed by the other party, which will increase the anti-show ability, and the more suppressed, the greater the anti-show ability. Huh? And this operation? The system didn't remind you before. Face value card? What the hell is this? Isn't your appearance high enough? However, it was all time to play, and Chen Fong didn't have time to think so much, and directly added all the 500 dream points he just obtained to the Samba skill column. Samba skills, 4,500/10,000. The Samba skill column is close to 50%, and Chen Fong obviously feels that his mastery of Samba skills is more solid and proficient. Immediately afterwards, he also crushed the anti-show card and the appearance card in his mind and used it on himself. However, he also has no mirror, and I don't know if this middle-level face value card has any effect. Too lazy to care, let's talk about the game first. The head coach blew the whistle to start the game and Flamingo got the ball. But Flamingo was very solid, and did not launch a fierce attack like Corinthians at the beginning, but formed a trident of striker Wellington, striker Lewis, and Ronaldo Jr., and the others stabilized the back and formed an airtight barrier. Chen Fong naturally guessed their intentions. The overall strength of Flamenco is not comparable to Carlos Corinthians. After all, the title of torpedo boat is not called casually. Brazil's strongest striker, composed of Carlos, Elias, and Caesar, is not blown. But on the other hand, Flamengo, except for Xiao Luo, other players are veterans of the Baja Liga at best, and they have not formed an influence in world football. If you want to win this game, you can only rely on Xiao Luo Chanli to ride alone. This is very similar to Lrina. So to put it bluntly, this Brazilian Champions Cup final is the ultimate solo show between Chen Fong and Xiao Luo. The situation was solid for both teams in the opening game. Flamengo took the ball and tried to attack from the wing. Assigned to the left side, striker Wellington tried to break through, but Walter was fast and kept pestering him. Passed. Wellington kicked straight to superstar Xiao Luo. The fans in the stands have completely exploded. Will Xiao Luo make a famous stunt? Xiao Luo is very fast, and his posture is still extremely flowing. Then returned to defender Junior. Developed to the right flank Junior. Junior Alcu was cut off. Fortunately, he chased back in time and managed to snatch the ball back with a flanking tackle. Pass back, Xiao Luo. Thousands of miles away in the Dragon Kingdom, CCTV Sports Channel commentator Lu Qi is explaining the game in an extremely excited tone. As the top football event in Brazil, it has undoubtedly formed a huge influence in the Dragon Country. Millions of Xiao Luo fans in the Dragon Kingdom are looking forward to it, and finally waiting for Xiao Luo to play again. In addition, it is the famous football commentator Lu Qi who commented, and once ranked second on the hot search list of the Dragon Country Dunyong. In addition to Xiao Luo's popularity on the hot search list, an unknown name, Chen Fong, was also on the hot search list and ranked 10th. Countless Dragon Kingdom fans clicked on Chen Feng's Dunyong encyclopedia. What? Chinese Brazilian? He stayed in the Dragon Kingdom from the age of 6 to 17, followed the national youth U18 team to Brazil youth training, who once wanted to become famous with one goal, and immediately signed for the Bahia Londrina. Unleashed treacherous, dreamy, and gorgeous Samba stunts in the Baja Second League, win the Bahia Championship in one fell swoop, and help Londrina's team to be promoted to the first division. In the Copa de Brasilia, he created countless wonderful moments, single-handedly lifting the Londrina team to the final of the Copa do Brasil. When countless Dragon Country fans saw Chen Feng's profile, they were petrified in surprise. They spread word of mouth, and more fans poured into the live broadcast room of CCTV Sports Channel and watched the game with relish. When did Xiao Luo return to Flamenco? Upstairs, you're still living in the last century, right? Ronaldo returns to South America this year to join Flamenco. You don't need to watch this game, it's just a Brazil Cup. Xiao Luo will definitely get it. Don't forget, Xiao Luo's current state has declined seriously. It is estimated that he only has 5 or 6% of his peak power. I see this game as very suspense. Yes, you go to look at Chen Feng's previous matches, you know how strong he is. He has formed a great influence in Brazil. The outside world calls him the Samba King. What? Samba Dance King? He, a Chinese, can actually play Samba football? Isn't that Xiao Luo, the exclusive skill of the horse? I am a fan of Chen Fong, and the first time I watched his second league, I was amazed by my Brazil Cup champion Lrina. Upstairs, if you are so sure, I suggest you go to the spinach market and buy 100 million, and now Lrina's odds are 5 to 1. That is, open your eyes and say nonsense. Although Xiao Luo only has the peak 5 or 6 success power, it must be no problem to hang Lrina. What is the origin of this Chen Fong? How have you never heard of it? Xiao Luo took the ball again, and the fans in the stands cheered and cheered. Xiao Luo, the ox's tail is. Xiao Luo, the ox's tail is. Xiao Luo, the ox's tail is. Countless fans shouted their hearts, and their common wish was to see Xiao Luo again on the court with a famous stunned ox tail. I thought that Xiao Luo would not care, who knew that he smiled indifferently, hooked the ball with his foot in the next second, and quickly touched the ball with the outer instep and the inner instep in an instant, shaking 3 defenders in succession. It's really handsome. You must know that the difficulty of the ox's tail is very high. In addition to the extremely high requirements for ball skills, it is also the embodiment of personal physical fitness and on-the-spot reaction. Xiao Luo actually played it out so easily, and in an instant, tens of thousands of fans in the stands were completely crazy, and the cheers were deafening. Countless fans began to cry loudly, and I have to say that this face was too tearful. Facing Lrina's all-active defensive iron barrel formation, Ronaldo had to pass backwards to striker Wellington. Meanwhile, Wellington's breakthrough on the right side of the pitch was brought down by the opponent, and Flamingo secured a well-placed free kick from the top right of the penalty area. Ronaldo's free kick made a wonderful arc around the wall, and the ball bounced in front of the goal and went straight into the bottom right corner of the goal, giving Flamingo a 1-0 lead in the first half. The audience boiled again. Lrina's fans were in a sigh. And Alice, Sarana, and Sandra 3. You look at me, I look at you, brows furrowed, face full of confusion. Chen, what's wrong? He seems to be dumb, not like his style. Yes, what kind of moth is my cousin? This is the final of the Copa Brazil, not the Baja Liga. Chen's performance today is surprising me. Is it because you are timid in the face of idols? Oh my god, my cousin can't be stupid here. How important the Brazil Cup championship is to him, but it's actually a dispensable trophy for Xiao Luo. At halftime, Xiao He picked up a bottle of electrolyte drink and gurgled down, and said to Chen Fong suspiciously, Chen, are we just sitting and waiting for death? Just because Xiao Luo is your idol, you can't give up. In the first half, Xiao He saw that Chen Fong had several opportunities to break Xiao Luo's ball, but because it was Xiao Luo, Chen Fong hesitated. This hesitation is a bad thing. It's okay, Brother Black, how about letting them have a goal? I'm sure I'm going to win 2 rounds. Chen Feng's eyes were heavy, and he said confidently, for him, to give Flamingo a ball, is to respect the idol Xiao Luo. But that's all he has, and then he'll give it his all, and Flamingo will wait for a critical hit. After replenishing the electrolytes, the second half of the game starts again. Unexpectedly, at the beginning of the second half, the situation on the field changed abruptly, and Lrina began to launch a fierce attack. Huh? Look, Chen Fong has made a force. Chen Fong came out, he received the ball. Follow the trend to the edge of forbiddenness. Flamenco forms a bag. A direct volley, bang. Unfortunately, Chen Feng's volley was blocked by the opposing striker. Wellington stretched out his foot and smashed heavily on the goalpost. With Flamenco facing Chen Feng's sudden force, his head suddenly buzzed, and he felt a trace of fear. This kid has been silent for the first half. I thought his strength was like this, but I didn't expect him to do it on purpose. Now is the time to reveal your true abilities. Seeing this, Xiao Luo showed a satisfied smile and secretly sighed. I'm still worried about this kid, his anger has finally been aroused, and it's time to show your strength. And Chen Fong, who completed the shot, just pouted expressionlessly, and the kick just now was just a warm-up for the mountain-shaking tiger, which meant that he was going to start moving the real thing. This seems to be reminding Xiao Luo to be more vigilant, otherwise he will be overturned by the rising star. After pouting, Chen Fong stretched out his tongue handsomely. This scene was successfully captured by the camera, and countless Chen Fong fans at the scene were overwhelmed by this small action. More fans who squatted in front of the TV to watch the live broadcast were also handsome by Chen Fong. Wow, so handsome. This fascinated me. Chen Fong, so handsome, compared to horses, I think he is 10,000 times more handsome. Please don't compare the horse to Chen Fong. The horse kid is purely a scoundrel, with no work ethic. Last time in the Liberation Cup, Santos won the championship trophy, but as soon as he got off the field, the horse kid led people to fight with his opponent. Don't you think that kid Chen Fong is getting more and more handsome? Mountain-like eyebrows, cold and cool expressions, and occasional hints of handsomeness, he is simply a male god in the arena. I don't care, I want to date Chen Fong. Little 24 son, let's show off your skills. Xiao Luo narrowed his eyes and threw a meaningful smile at Chen Fong. To tell you the truth, only in the top Brazilian tournament can you show Samba skills in Europe. You can't see such a brilliant match. Because once you use it, you will most likely be considered an insult by the opponent, followed by being targeted, and may even be beaten by a group. Horses are a case in point. Of course, Xiao Luo did not enjoy this kind of targeted treatment. After all, he occasionally played acrobatics, and he was only for the sake of being outstanding, not for the sake of showing off. The difference at this point is very big. After Xiao Luo picked up the ball, he began to dribble laterally, and the perfect flowing pulling ball through the crotch and stepping on the bicycle passed, and the fans in the stands were ignited again, and the deafening shouts of cheers almost exploded the entire stadium. The next scene that shocked everyone appeared. Xiao Luo, who has always been pragmatic and does not show off for the sake of showmanship, and although he is in the shooting position, he did not choose to shoot, but continued to make a pick and a variety of random stops, igniting the whole game. I have to say that although Xiao Luo has only 5 or 6% of his peak power, his skills are still online. The players who shook Lrina all the way were stunned. Could this be Xiao Luo's true strength? Sure enough, a superstar is a superstar. Compared to Chen Feng's Samba skills, Xiao Luo's skills are more solid and flowing. When approaching the Lrina penalty area, Ronaldo chose to kick and shoot. The angle was out, but the strength did not come out. The ball was quickly confiscated by the opposing goalkeeper. Episode 52. Xiao Luo was shocked. I saw myself at my peak. After Walter took the ball, he directly shoved the ball, and the ball was sent to Chen Feng's feet like a positioning missile. The time has come for the opposing midfielder Felipe and central defender Renato to follow up and strictly defend Chen Fong. The next moment, a GIF phantom appeared in Chen Feng's mind. It was the rainbow passing plus 720-degree swing rain plug. This is the system prompting him to use these two skills. I saw Chen Fong suddenly accelerate and run, facing the encirclement of Felipe and Renato. Chen Fong instantly clamped the ball with both feet, threw it hard, the ball jumped high, and saw that the ball was thrown into the air by him from behind, and then crossed Felipe and Renato in a treacherous arc, and when the two reacted, Chen Fong accelerated abruptly and came to catch the ball firmly behind the two. The whole action was gorgeous, flowing in one go, which made everyone present so shocked that their jaws dropped. Just when everyone was stunned, several flamenco defenders once again surrounded Chen Fong. Chen Fong rode alone, quickly made a 720-degree slalom, completed the super difficult maneuver with a crazy and flowing posture, 720-degree dashing turn and dribbling, leaving the 5 flamenco defenders behind. Immediately after facing the defensive gap, Chen Fong sent a straight kick, like a god under the ordinary, and hit the ball shoots steadily into the net. At this moment, the whole stadium was completely boiling, and the fans of Lrina jumped up on the stools, and they frantically shouted Chen Feng's name. Chen champion. Chen, the champion is none other than you. Chen, the heavenly gods are under the ordinary, and the is scored twice. At the same time, Xiao Luo's fans sighed one by one. Their eyes were blank. This blow was too big. They originally thought that as soon as Xiao Luo came on the field, Chen Fong was completely suppressed and was dumb for a while. Unexpectedly, at the beginning of the second half, Chen Fong was like a different person. The attack was fierce, and now he is showing up again. You must know that from Chen Fong to the time he shot, he used his magical, soul-destroying Samba skills to dangle all the way past 7 Flamengo defenders and shot straight into the net. It's just incredible. Chen Fong really showed off. Lrina's fans shouted wildly. Alice and Sarana, Sandra Trio 17, hugged excitedly. At this moment, they had waited too long. Hey, that pretty girl seems to be Sarana. A blonde boy who was also sitting in the Lrina fan area pointed to Sarana's back and said, looking at Sarana, who was slender and blonde hair flowing, like an elf, the boy said suspiciously, "Who is Sarana? You don't even know her? She is the school flower of our school and is recognized as the #1 beauty, is it? Judging by the back, the figure is quite good. Is there a chance to ask her out? Stop dreaming. That eldest lady is notoriously cold. She usually doesn't talk to any boy. Let's dye this heart. Hey, what a pity. It won't be someone you like, right? Love someone? Never heard of it, but strangely enough, Sarana usually behaves very elegantly. The last time I bumped into her, it was in the library, and today is the first time I have seen her so excited and crazy. You see, her throat was almost hoarse with her screams. Haha, I didn't expect her to be a fan of Lrina. I'm an old fan, there's nothing I don't know, I'll talk to her later. I'm afraid that people won't. You. The boy glanced at his companion beside him with disdain. Sarana has always been the goddess in his heart. He has taken the initiative to talk twice, and all he got was Sarana's ignorance, not to mention his handsome companion. At the same time, Mato Grosso, Chen Feng's grandmother, grandfather and uncle's family gathered in the living room, and on TV, it was not the top European league, but the Brazilian Cup final Lrina versus Flamengo. With his magical, soul-destroying Samba skills, Chen Fong showed off a wave of fierce heaven and scored a goal to equalize the score. My uncle's family jumped up and down at home with joy. Just when he was happy, two of his uncle's friends, both of whom were also farmers, knocked on the door, came in. Seeing that the family was watching the Brazil Cup final intently, he said, "You guys are also watching the game for São Luo, right?" Although the Copa Brazil is Brazil's top competition, many Brazilian fans still disdain it, mostly focusing on Europe's top leagues. After all, Brazilian superstars have basically been recruited by European scouts to play in Europe, and most of the players who stay in Brazil are first- and second-rate players who are not very strong. "No, we only watched the game for Lrina's striker, Chen Fong," Uncle said stiffly. "What? Lrina's striker, Chen Fong? I have heard his name, and the outside world calls him the Samba King, although the hat is now high, but in time it may really be tailored for him." After hearing this, my uncle said proudly, "You don't know yet, Chen Fong is my own nephew." As soon as these words came out, the two players were completely dumbfounded, and they thought that they had calluses in their ears, but they didn't hear them clearly. "You said that Chen Fong is your nephew?" Uncle nodded proudly. "Oh my god, why didn't we ever know you had such a genius nephew? I watched his matches in the Ba-B and the Brazilian Cup, and I was really shocked. His style of play is too tumultuous and handsome, in my opinion, horses can't compare with it." The two friends kept praising each other, and then also sat on the sofa, watching the game intently. And in the Dragon Kingdom thousands of miles away, Lucci explained that after Chen Fong scored a goal, he swallowed. After Lrina's goal came back, Chen Feng's form became more and more hot, and Flamingo began to realize that a sense of crisis was coming, and they had to win the game with a bang. And São Luo was shocked. Chen Fong just passed the rainbow plus 720 degrees roundabout to get rid of 7 defenders in a row, and then kicked straight into the goal, really confident. It's like a stroke of God. This super self-confidence is like São Luo at his peak. You must know that these two Samba skills are top-notch. In addition to excellent ball skills, you also need a strong psychological quality. In this kind of extremely stressful championship competition, Chen Fong actually played with ease, and he really deserved to be a genius. After Flamingo got the ball, striker Wellington was like lightning, aiming at Lrina's penalty area and straight in. Blackie and Walter defended with all their might. Striker Wellington had to kick back to centre-back Ronaldo, who chose to shoot from distance after dangling past 2 defenders. The ball hit the goal frame impartially, and after bouncing back, São Luo ran away quickly to find a chance to make up the shot. While the ball was still flying in the air, São Luo made a force at his feet, jumped high, and a perfect header headed towards the goal frame. However, due to the deviation of the angle, it was saved by Lrina's goalkeeper. After Walter took the ball, he passed the ball to the big gap with a super long shot, and the Black took the ball and quickly killed towards the Flamingo penalty area. This is Blackie's head-to-head with the goalkeeper, and if Blackie can score a goal, then Lrina has more chances to win against arch-rival Flamingo. At this moment, everyone on the field sweated for Xiaohe. Sandra's heart even jumped to her throat, and she even began to experience slight dizziness due to excessive attention. How much she wants to see her sweetheart Blackie rise to prominence in the Copa Brazil Championship. Sandra fell on Alice. Thanks to Alice's early discovery, she quickly helped her to her seat to rest. "Sandra, don't be too nervous, take a deep breath," Sarana persuaded. All the fans held their breath, and saw that Xiaohe had already rushed to the penalty area, ready to rub his right foot into the door. He suddenly thought of something. So he kicked and flew towards the upper right corner of the door frame. In an instant, the camera followed the ball to the upper right corner of the door frame. The goalkeeper also flew to the right of the frame. The next thing that everyone didn't expect was that although Xiaohe's right foot flew out, the ball was still firmly under his feet and did not move. Groove. Blackie's shot completely deceived everyone present, including the photographer. "Chen, thank you for teaching me such a trick. I love it so much." Next, Xiaohe faced the empty net, gently pushed his left foot, and the ball entered the net. The score came to 2-1. Lrina leads by 1 goal. The fans of Lrina completely exploded, holding up Xiaohe's photo one by one, shouting wantonly. At the same time, Sandra was so excited that she couldn't help but cry with joy. The Flamingo manager realized something was wrong and asked for a substitution. On the surface, there is a substitution, but in fact there is a tactical change. According to this trend, you must lose, you must suppress Chen Fong. As for how to inexplicably concede 2 goals, Flamingo's whole team was confused. Only São Luo was clear in his heart. Now his strength has fallen sharply, and his current skill is at most 5 or 6% at its peak. Chen Fong is different. Compared with the previous games, São Luo was surprised to find that Chen Feng's Samba skills became more silky and smooth, and the whole movement was no longer as stiff as before. You know, it's only been a few months, and Chen Fong has changed so much? Could it be that he is really a heavenly god? Otherwise, how could it be possible to comprehend the ball skills in such a short time? In his mind, any star, including top stars, mostly has only one signature stunt that he is good at. For example, São Luo, his signature limb is the tail of the ox. De Luo is a pendulum man. But Chen Fong, this kid, seems to know any kind of ball skill, and he has played 7 or 8% of the taste. De Luo is Xiao Luo's idol. He has witnessed De Luo swinging people in the arena, and he is naturally incomparable to Chen Fong at his peak. But Chen Feng's ability to make it is enough to show that he is extraordinary. If it is a teammate of Manchester United in Europe, Xiao Luo is confident that he can easily win the game, but now let him, who is already not as strong as before, bring such a group of teammates again, and he suddenly feels powerless. The whole team sacrificed a killer weapon, stared closely at Chen Fong, and completely suppressed him. This is the latest tactic given by the head coach. Understanding the enemy before the game is homework that every coach does. After analyzing Lrina's previous matches, coupled with various comprehensive data, the head coach was also surprised to find that Chen Fong must show every game, and once the sky showed, Chen Feng's shooting conversion rate could reach an astonishing 100%. Before the round of 16 of the Brazilian Cup, Lrina played against Palmeiras. Chen Fong had a pendulum show, and Chen Fong had already shot from a long distance. And once the show can't be up, it will be dumb. As soon as Chen Fong was dumbfounded, then the whole team of Lrina naturally stopped moving. Before Lrina played against Corinthians, the strong superstar Carlos suppressed Chen Fong to death, making Lrina once fall into a dilemma of not being able to turn over. If Carlos hadn't suddenly and seriously injured the game, Lrina would have escaped the summer in that game. Sensing this keenly, the head coach immediately gave the team a new tactic. Xiao Luo also nodded with satisfaction after hearing this. In his heart, he hoped that Chen Fong would never stop his ultimate solo show. But the opponent's use of suppression tactics is a challenge that every Tianqiu player must face. Strong as De Luo, Messi, Ronaldo, etc., they have all encountered special targets on the field, but they all got through the difficult period smoothly with their keen sense of smell, super awareness, and excellent ball skills. Then completely transformed into their respective glorious times. Xiao Luo hoped that Chen Fong could also successfully complete this difficult step. With the last 30 minutes left in the game, Flamingo was replaced by Botinelli, a defender who has been in hot form recently. Botinelli did not recover last season due to injury, so he played very little. With a height of 2 meters and a weight of 80 kilograms, Botinelli is famous for his brass wall and iron wall. Chen Fong keenly smelled a trace of the breath that was targeted 997. If you guessed correctly, then Flamenco will target and contain him. Although he just received the suppression anti-show card that was rewarded by the system, he had never used it, and he didn't know what this card could do. At the moment, you can only do a good defense. If they're lucky enough to keep the score 2-1 at halftime, they'll be overtasked, and they'll be ready for the second leg as soon as the first leg is over. Even if a goal is forcibly pulled back by Flamengo, the result of a draw is acceptable to them. Head coach Koscielny greeted the fourth official and signaled that his side would also be substituted. Replace fullback Fordrini with a backer. Lrina also turned into a double back formation to strengthen the protection of the midfield. Koscielny also specially explained that if Flamenco is suppressed too much, then they will sacrifice their trick, 10 guarantees, and 1. Let Chen Fong show up no matter what. When Chen Fong stepped into the Flamengo midfield, defender Botinelli pressed towards him, and the height of 2 meters 2 and 1.75 was really a lot taller. Coupled with the fact that Botinelli is a muscular macho, Chen Fong has almost no sense of existence in front of him. But after all, this is just the appearance, the truth confrontation. Botinelli is not Chen Feng's opponent at all. With his strong body, Botinelli further compressed Chen Feng's chances and space to touch the ball. On the other hand, although Flamengo are 1 goal behind, their attack has always been very smooth. After all, there is striker Ronaldo, Xiao Luo, Wellington. Lewis trident straight into the hinterland of Lrina. After being surrounded by Chen Fong and others, Wellington passed to midfielder Felipe with his right foot. Felipe quickly found the rhythm of the game, split the ball on the wing. Xiao Luo successfully received the ball, faced the defenders, and once again made a stunt bulltail pass and threw off the defenders. Then in the face of the upper snatching back, Xiao Luo stepped out very quickly, like an electric flint, and swung over Lrina's back again in an incomparable manner. Seeing that he was about to approach the restricted area, Chen Fong shouted that the big thing was not good, so he had to give up the gap defense and go towards Xiao Luo. 2 samba dancers began to single out in the penalty area, and countless fans screamed, "Xiao Luo, show him! Dry him up!" Xiao Luo scored twice, won the game. On the pitch, fans shouted in unison. Xiao Luo smiled indifferently, and then started the cycling mode at high speed in the blink of an eye, changing the center of gravity between the illusory and smoothly shaking past Chen Fong. Chen Feng's face turned dark, and he called fuck. I didn't expect that I would also have a day to be shown by others. Chen Fong chased back, but it was too late, and he saw Xiao Luo shooting straight at high speed. The ball shoots steadily into the net in a treacherous arc. Episode 53, Xiao Luo and Chen Fong show each other? The field is fancy football. Lrina kicked off and passed to Chen Fong in the center back. As soon as Chen Fong took the ball, Flamengo was like a big enemy, and his nerves were tense, for fear that he would score another goal. Felipe, Silva, plus defender Bottinelli, the eyes of the three are almost inseparable from Chen Fong. I was afraid that if I didn't pay attention, Chen Fong would slip away. Time is running out, and one more ball must be told. Defender Botine used his powerful body to confront Chen Fong, trying to suppress Chen Fong so that he had no room to pass the ball, thereby cutting off his ball. I thought that this was a confrontation without suspense, but in the next second, Bottinelli was completely stunned. Chen Feng's body, like a copper wall and an iron wall, could not be pushed at all. Is it really evil? Bottinelli has been in the league for so many years and thinks he is not inferior to anyone in physical confrontation. Unexpectedly, at this moment, he actually couldn't pry Chen Fong? Bottinelli couldn't figure it out. At this moment, Chen Fong suddenly accelerated in place, a perfect pull through the crotch, and passed the ball through the crotch of the confused Bottinelli. Then Chen Fong turned around and exploded, running wildly with the ball. The three of Bottinelli reacted, rose furiously, and chased after Chen Fong. Tianxiu's chance has arrived. Let them see what real speed is comparable to Usain Bolt. Chen Fong forcefully exerted the power of the overlord, and his legs instantly rushed forward as if they were pretending to be a flywheel. At one point, the sprint speed reached 3,750 km/h. To know that the flyer Usain Bolt set a men's 100-meter world record of 958 seconds, the average speed is 3,758 km/h, and Chen Fong still runs with the ball, and the speed is basically comparable to Usain Bolt. At this moment, the three people who were chasing after them were dumbfounded. You must know that they are all veterans of the Baja Liga, who have played dozens of games, and have never met a player who runs so fast with the ball. Even if they had already done everything they could, they were still a physical distance away from Chen Fong. This is too evil. This is a soccer arena, not a 100-meter sprint. In the face of others chasing and blocking, Chen Fong continuously picked the ball in the high-speed running, turned around, and swung past 5 defenders with a bull's tail, straight into the Flamingo penalty area. Between the electric light and flint, defender Bottinelli accelerated sharply and slammed into Chen Fong when he saw this. Rumble. There was a crisp and loud sound in the air. All of Lrina's teammates sweated for Chen Fong, and there was a high probability that Chen Fong was knocked out and fractured. Tens of thousands of Lrina fans made a voice of chagrin. Bottinelli, this bastard, actually used such a three-way method. Fell. Penalty kick. Fell. Penalty kick. However, there was no movement in Bottinelli's hands, and it was normal to fight against the referee and did not intend to award a penalty. Lu Qi, a commentator on Longwa CCTV sports channel, said in a flat tone, physically confrontation with Chen Fong? Bottinelli is going to suffer. Facts have proven many times that those who tried to be smart in front of Chen Fong were eventually punished. And the fans who paid attention to the live broadcast room on The Voice were instantly not calm. Although I am a fan of flamenco, I am very despised by Botine's use of this 3 abuses. A crisp click, I heard it all just now. Chen Fong must have broken his bone. Yes, it's too pitiful. If Chen Fong ends, Lrina's combat power will plummet in an instant, and this game will lose its suspense. Nope? I don't think so. None of you have seen Chen Feng's previous matches. The commentator Lu Qi is right. Anyone who fights against Chen Fong physically will often suffer in the end. What? Sind? Are you saying it was Bottinelli who broke the bones? Not Chen Fong? What international joke are you kidding? Just Chen Feng's small body can withstand such a high-intensity collision? Only a small number of Chen Feng's iron fans were opposed. Most Dragon Kingdom fans don't think so. At this moment, Chen Fong took the ball and connected 5 people like a butterfly in a flower, sending a wonderful kick in front of the penalty area. The goalkeeper simply did not have time to react. Fly and pounce. The ball burrowed firmly into the net, and the score was 3-2. Chen Fong scored twice and helped Lrina win a goal again. 2. So wonderful. Chen Fong was really unharmed, and he could connect 5 people like a butterfly wearing a flower. Is he proving to the world that the high-intensity physical confrontation just now does not pose the slightest threat to him? He shot. He shouldn't be teasing the goalkeeper this time. He chose to kick. Huh? This ball. Scored. It's so exciting. Chen Fong is like a wild horse galloping out of control on the field, throwing off the heavy encirclement of Flamingo, and the last kick to shoot the goal, scored twice. When Lu Qi's excited voice came out of the live broadcast room, the fans didn't even react. When the wonderful moment began to return to visit, the fans of the Dragon Kingdom were completely shocked one by one, and they frantically brushed comments in the live broadcast room. Chen Fong, the cow beep is big. Groove, what is this operation? There was a crisp and loud clicking sound just now. It wasn't Chen Feng's, was it? What? Am I blinded? It's too fast. It's another football genie, and Samba's skills are perfect. This is really the most gorgeous, soul-destroying game I've ever seen. I'm so drunk that I don't know why. How good it would be if Chen Fong were from our dragon country. Upstairs, want to fart? Our dragon country is good everywhere, but we can't cultivate a talented star. Yes, but hasn't Chen Fong lived in the Dragon Kingdom for 11 years? Why hasn't he been assimilated by the Dragon Kingdom football environment? Can anyone tell me the answer? At the same time, tens of thousands of Lrina fans in the stands went completely crazy, and Alice, Sarana, and Sandra held hands and danced samba in the stands. 3 stunning girls swirled in the stands, attracting the attention of countless male fans. The boy and his companion, who had a crush on Sarana, were fascinated by Sarana's dancing skills. Sarana is simply a stunner. If you can kiss Fongsa, it will be worth dying in this life. Alas, I advise you to be kind. Sarana is an angel. How can you filthy monster touch him? Just as the two were fighting for the wind, Sarana suddenly stopped dancing and shouted to the arena, "Chen, I love you." Sarana shouted 3 times in a row. As soon as these words came out, the fans of Lrina all heard it clearly, and those male fans instantly darkened their faces to the extreme. They didn't expect that such a stunning girl would actually confess to Chen Fong on the good field. She already has someone in her heart, which is the rising star Chen Fong. So where else do they have a chance? What do they compare with Chen Fong? What? She just in confession? Sarana is confessing to Chen Fong? My mother, this melon is too big. Although Sarana is my goddess and the object of my crush, Chen Fong is a star, and according to his development trend, his future achievements may be equal to that of Xiao Luo Jipping. How can such a superstar look at Sarana of ordinary people? Sarana is also too self-sufficient. The boy showed a mocking look. I also think it's that if he wants to pick between the two of us, that's a big chance. But she wants to fall in love with Chen Fong. I'm afraid she is daydreaming, right? The companions also sighed the same way. Well, I've always felt that Sarana is perfect in my heart, like a white moonlight angel. I didn't expect that I saw clearly now. It turned out that she was a little fangirl who dreamed of fools. The man sighed longly. Just when the stands fell into a crazy noise, on the field, Bottinelli, who had been stunned in place for a long time, instantly fell to the ground. Then he hugged his thigh and held, my leg is broken. Xiao Luo? All members of the Flamenco team? All the fans in front of the TV station? What is this Neymar doing? When Bottinelli and Chen Fong had a physical confrontation, it was already 5 minutes ago, when Chen Fong perfectly swung past several central defenders and shot into the net. Everyone in the audience thought that Chen Fong was wrong. After all, it was Chen Fong who was hit. Not Bottinelli again. How did Bottinelli suddenly fall and say that he had broken his bone? Which one is this singing? It turns out that only Bottinelli himself knows that he is known for his first-class physical ability in the Bundesliga. When he deliberately crashed into Chen Fong, he did not expect to be shocked by the huge recoil force and fractured his thigh. He couldn't accept this status quo anyway, and in order not to be ridiculed, he had to carry it with all his might. Unexpectedly, he carried it abruptly for 5 minutes, and the pain became stronger and stronger, so that his whole body was paralyzed, and finally he fell to the ground. Death to face and live to suffer sin. Chen Fong said with a look of disdain. What the hell? Chen Fong was hit, he was unharmed, it was actually Bottinelli who was injured? This is not in line with the laws of physics. Guys, have you ever seen this situation? I haven't seen it. You watch the horse race. Every time he plays all kinds of samba tricks and provokes the other party deliberately hits him, shovels him, and even tears his clothes. The last to be injured were poor horses. But why did it come to Chen Fong? It was the opposite. Yes, Chen Fong is simply evil. I have also seen it in the previous game. The opponent flanked him, but I didn't expect him to be unharmed, and the person who shoveled him was either fractured or seriously injured. God, it's incredible. Countless Brazilian fans have puzzled this question, some of them specializing in physics, who make various forces analysis, but they racked their brains, and they couldn't find answers. It's a big deal. Bottinelli was substituted and the team doctors had to take him to the hospital for treatment. The previous defender continued to play, the game continued, but time was running out, only 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes are not completely out of chance. However, because of this heavenly show, Chen Fong instantly gained 10,000 sound wave value. That is, in the next game, he will be able to shoot the whole game. After Xiao Luo took the ball, he ran all the way towards the Lrina penalty area, facing the opponent's defense. Xiao Luo's continuous random stoppage and high-speed running plus sudden acceleration to perfectly throw off the defenders. Then swing your legs in place and shoot directly, and the long-distance attack will finally hit the nail on the head. The score is 3-3. At this moment, the fans on the court exploded again. This is obviously the top event in Brazil, but I didn't expect it to be played by Chen Fong and Xiao Luo as a personal show. The most shocking thing is that Xiao Luo and Chen Fong showed each other and forced the field to play freestyle football. The score was 3-3, evenly matched, and equal. At this moment, countless Xiao Luo fans around the world cheered happily. They not only saw the idol they dreamed of coming to the field again, but also saw that the idol was not old, and showed several days and turned the whole scene. At the same time, Chen Fong, a yellow-skinned star, because in the first leg of the Brazilian Cup final, he showed with world superstar Xiao Luo on a par with each other, and helped Lrina score 3 goals under the pressure of huge public opinion, and Chen Feng's name also entered the hearts of countless fans. This may be what Xiao Luo really wants to do before retiring. Samba football was boycotted in Europe, and now Xiao Luo has also returned to South American Samba football to the worst test. And Chen Feng's appearance gave him a glimmer of hope. To this end, Xiao Luo gave up the opportunity to let Chen Fong show all kinds of heavens. What Xiao Luo really wants to do is that after he retires, the fans who originally admire and support him can choose to support Chen Fong. Choose to support Samba football to continue to shine in world football. At this moment, he did it. The referee blew the final whistle and the score was locked at 3-3 in the first leg. Chen Fong and Xiao Luo hugged their teammates, respectively. Then, when he walked off the field, Xiao Luo deliberately walked towards Chen Fong and extended his hand of friendship. "Chen, your performance today impressed me. Continue to persevere. Thank you for your encouragement." Then the two waved their hands and said goodbye. After getting off the field, Brazil's top media came to interview Chen Fong, but due to too much fatigue on the field, he didn't want to be interviewed at all, so he declined. Lrina rushed away from the stands. She couldn't care too much at this moment, and when she saw Chen Fong, she hugged him tightly with open arms, tears welling up in her eyes. Although this match is flat, for Lrina, this is the best ending. Xiao Luo is Chen Feng's idol and his spiritual pillar, and he naturally does not want Xiao Luo to lose the game. For Xiao Luo, he definitely doesn't want him, who is about to retire, to steal Chen Feng's limelight. So a draw is the best ending. "Lrina, I heard your confession in the stands," Chen Fong said abruptly. "What? You heard me?" Lrina's ears turned red instantly with shame, and she buried her head deeply in Chen Feng's arms. The boys and companions in the stands were dumbfounded when they saw the scene. This can't be. When did they do it? I've never heard of it. It's over. My goddess doesn't belong to me anymore. What happened to Chen Fong? He actually took a fancy to Lrina? He is a star, and as soon as this game is over, his value will definitely skyrocket. Isn't it said that football stars like to visit nightclubs and like to pick up girls? Doesn't Lrina know this? Let's go, don't worry about salty turnips. I advise you to hurry up and change to a goddess. Your goddess already has a heart. The companion pushed him hard. In the lounge, Lrina's teammates gave Chen Fong a thumbs up and each gave him a hug. "Chen, you did a great job. You really showed me today. If I were a woman, I would have thrown my arms around you a long time ago. Chen, you actually show each other your skills with Xiao Luo. Do you know that now Xiao Luo's fans are praising you? They didn't hack you, but they all said they liked you. Chen, what are you going to do in the second round?" After hearing this, Chen Fong thought for a while, and then said, "We have one more second round match with Flamingo, but this may be the last match with Xiao Luo." As soon as these words came out, everyone present was amazed. "What do you mean by that?" Walter could not understand. "This match is a draw, whether it is for me or for Xiao Luo, it is the best ending. And this is the ending that millions of fans want to see the most. In the next game, Xiao Luo will most likely not play, because he will soon choose to retire," Chen Fong said. All of Lrina's teammates? Episode 54. Xiao Luo retired halfway. Chen Fong attended the farewell party. In the early hours of the morning, just as thousands of fans were looking forward to the second leg of the Copa Brazil Championship, Lrina and Flamingo were preparing for the match. A news that surprised the world was announced. Xiao Luo officially announced his retirement. The Flamingo manager tried his best to persuade, but Rajagant Jr. saw it. As a veteran coach of the Baja Liga, the head coach understands Xiao Luo's decision very well. As a world superstar, Xiao Luo's retirement has been a sure thing since his form seriously declined and he had to choose to return to South America, but it was only a matter of time. In the first leg against Lrina, Ronaldo endured injuries and great pressure, and showed his fame skills many times in the match, helping Flamingo draw 3-3 with Lrina. He met the expectations of thousands of fans and completed the last dance of his career. He did not let the world down, so this is the perfect time for him to retire. Xiao Luo, our club supports your decision, and after discussing with the high level, it is decided to terminate the contract with you free of charge and help you hold a farewell party. The general manager of the Flamenco club extended his right hand to Xiao Luo. The farewell party was held in Rio de Janeiro, and on the day of the farewell party, 60,000 fans from all over the world came to the scene. Flamenco carefully arranged the farewell ceremony, and also made him a high-burning highlight of the competition, accompanied by a super-burning DJ 10 times to make the fans on the scene full of oil. Chen Fong took Lrina to Rio de Janeiro specially in order to participate in Xiao Luo's farewell party. An era has come to an end again. It's really sad to think about. Lrina's beautiful eyes were red. Chen Fong gently held her in his arms and comforted. This is the law of the development of things. Some people take off, and some people will leave. Don't be too sad, De Luo and Xiao Luo have all retired, but aren't there peerless double arrogant Messi and Ronaldo now? Lrina nodded heavily. For Chen Fong, Xiao Luo's retirement is inevitable, and he forged an era that belongs to him and left a strong mark in football. It's just that Chen Fong hopes that after Xiao Luo retires, he can change the fate of spending money and becoming a lie. Xiao Luo was on the stage, unhurriedly telling his football experience from childhood to the present, and lamented that life must be self-disciplined and stay away from temptation. When it comes to emotions, it was once stalked. Bailey, De Luo, Kaka, Mar, etc., who were finally invited to participate in the farewell party, all told how they met Xiao Luo and highly praised and congratulated Xiao Luo. The farewell party ended, tens of thousands of fans burst into tears, reluctantly waving goodbye hands to Xiao Luo. At this moment, even if it was Chen Fong, his eyes could not help but be filled with tears. Lrina, I'll take you back to school. Well, you accompany me for a day today, and tomorrow morning you will return to Lrina. Lrina with a pout, light teeth, a slight anger on her face, and a hint of playfulness and cuteness oozing from her elegant demeanor. Well, I promised you. Chen Fong gently poked the bridge of Lrina's nose. The two boarded a plane to Mato Grosso and arrived at Lrina's school. As soon as I strolled down the boulevard of the school, the students on the side began to talk. Hey, isn't this Lrina's striker Chen Fong? Why is he in our school? It's really warm, I've watched his game before, it's so showy, I didn't expect to see me. Actually looks so high. Who is the girl next to him? So beautiful, the two of them are a good match. Yes, that girl should not be from our school, right? Chen Fong is now a hot star in Brazil, and his value has risen again and again. How can he date someone from our school? Lying groove, I know that girl, isn't she Lrina, the school flower? She remembers that she also had a girlfriend named Alice. What? You say she's Lrina? She was actually dating Chen Fong? I'm not mistaken, am I? What are you afraid of? Go up and ask if you know. A girl wearing black eyes, a fat face, and a book in her arms walked towards Chen Fong. Hello, are you Star Chen Fong? I would like to ask you to sign my name, can you? The girl asked sincerely. No problem. Chen Fong took the pen and book freely, and signed his name with a phoenix dance. Thank you, I'm a cheerleader on our school soccer team. I have a few questions I'd like to interview you. Can I? The girl asked again. Yes. Chen Fong looked indifferent. Have you lived in the Dragon Kingdom for 11 years? Have you participated in youth training during this period? Chen Fong smiled indifferently and shook his head. The girl was shocked in her heart, and sure enough, as rumored by the outside world, Chen Fong really did not participate in any training. So where did your skills come from? On the one hand, it's genetics, my father is a veteran of the second league. On the other hand, talent plus hard work. Although I did not participate in the formal youth training, I spent a lot of time playing football every day. Wow, you're amazing. Brazilian fans send you your new title, Samba King. Are you satisfied? It's a high hat. I don't think I'm wearing it yet. May I ask if this beautiful girl next to you is your girlfriend? As soon as this question came out, Lrina and Chen Fong immediately laughed. You have to ask her this question, and if she says yes, then it is. After saying that, Chen Fong turned to look at the shy Lrina on the side. Say what? Lrina smirked for a while, punched Chen Fong with a pink fist, and then ran away. Chen Fong hurriedly chased after him. The girls behind him were so envious that their eyes straightened. These two people show their affection, which is not inferior to Chen Feng's heavenly show in the arena. The girls carefully edited the recorded DV, and then posted it online with subtitles. In an instant, the number of hits on the video exceeded 10 million, and countless fans left messages below. Wow, it's really a talented woman, it's so right. No, I don't agree, King Chenwu is my dream lover, how can he be with other girls? Upstairs advises you to wake up and stop daydreaming. Details of kneeling girls. Don't ask for it, the girl's name is Lrina, she is the school flower of our school, and it is said that she will apply for Cambridge University. What, Cambridge? My god, it seems that she has more than just beauty, but also talent. Then of course, can the woman that our King Chenwu fancy be bad? In other words, have you found out, King Chenwu's appearance is getting higher and higher now, is this my hallucination? Upstairs, it's not an illusion, it's a fact. Personal achievement and love can nourish a person's face. Lying groove, this is said, no wonder I am getting more and more frustrated. According to this trend, Flamingo without Xiao Luo is definitely not Lrina's opponent, and the Brazilian Cup winner's trophy is none other than Chen Wuwang. Yes, Chen Wuwang is now skyrocketing in value and is Brazil's most watched star, and if he guessed correctly, he should soon be moving to European clubs. And the horses, who just helped Santos win the Copa Liberation trophy, and as soon as the league is over, I guess both of them will go to play in Europe. Hey, the Europa League is indeed the best in world football, but both players went to Europe, and I still can't bear it. Don't worry, in 3 years' time, they will all come back to play for the national team, because the 2014 Copa de Bolshan de Brazil was held in our country. In the school's high-end hotel, Lrina giggled crisply while watching the colorful comments of netizens on her computer. You, don't look at it, I'm afraid you'll laugh off your big teeth later. Chen Fong said jokingly, this comment is so wonderful, it makes my stomach hurt when I laugh. After a long while, Sarana asked seriously, Chen, are you really going to Europe? Let's say I didn't get into Cambridge. Europe is the top of world football. If I don't go to Europe, my personal development will soon come to an end. Don't worry, even if you don't get into Cambridge, I'll take you with me, Chen Fong said with a smile. Sarana heard this and threw herself into Chen Feng's arms. He knows that Chen Fong is now a hot star in Brazil, and if he can win the Copa Brazil and the Baja Liga, Europe's top clubs will definitely invite him, and it is inevitable that he will go to Europe. But on the other hand, she herself is still an ordinary student, regardless of whether she can be admitted to Cambridge. Even if she is admitted, the gap between herself and Chen Fong will only increase. She couldn't hold back the feelings. In that case, keep this best night, it will be the best memory of her life. Thinking of this, Sarana's soft, wet lips were pressed to Chen Fong. The jade face was like a hot fire, and the beautiful eyes under the thin eyebrows of the willow leaf trembled. Immediately afterwards, he took off his pale green silk satin slip dress, and the two hugged each other. After a night, Chen Fong got up and got dressed to buy breakfast, and then kissed Sarana gently. Baby, I'm sorry, I have to go back to the club. 2 days later it was the second leg and I had to hurry back to training. Sarana hooked her hands around Chen Feng's neck, and the redness had not subsided. You go first, I'll go back to school by myself. After saying goodbye to Sarana, Chen Fong hurried to the airport and flew to the city of Lrina. On the training ground of the club, the teammates were playing a fierce confrontation when assistant coach Pardo saw Chen Fong coming from a distance and reprimanded. Chen, the game is not over yet, where did you run? Speed runs 10 laps around the course before competing again. Chen Fong looked apologetic. I'm sorry, I accept the punishment. With that, Chen Fong hurriedly returned to the lounge to change his skills and spikes, and then ran around the court. Although Xiao Luo is retired, we can't take it lightly. Koscielny's eyes were deep. As far as I know, there are several clubs in Europe that are tracking Chen Fong, and if we win the Copa de Biebra, I guess they will send Chen Fong an invitation to coach. How is this good? Without Chen Fong, the strength of our team is afraid that it will not be able to keep the Beijia. Pardo looked at Chen Fong, who was running on the court, and said with a worried face, it's inevitable, water goes low, people go high. Didn't Bailey, De Luo, and Xiao Luo all start in Brazil and then go to Europe to shine? Ko saw it very calmly. As a manager, in 2 or 3 years, he will be ready to retire. After so many years of coaching, Chen Fong is the only good seedling he has met in his life, and if he can help Lrina win the Beijia, Copa Brazil, and Baja Liga championships one after another, Lrina will be enough to go down in history, and he can be considered to have completed the task. As for Chen Fong, how can a place like Brazil still keep him? Even if he was forcibly left behind, wouldn't it ruin his life? It makes sense, so we should cherish this short time. After saying that, Pardo's eyes seemed to have a scene of Chen Fong reluctantly bidding farewell to his teammates, and his eyes were unconsciously filled with tears. On the training ground, the confrontation was in full swing, and Xiao He and Walter fought thoroughly for the next game. Walter is not young, and he is ready to retire after playing this year. After all, his talent is average, and if he can win several trophies under the leadership of Chen Fong, then his playing career will be complete. As for Xiao He, he has not yet decided whether to continue to stay in Lrina or go to Europe. If there is a club in Europe willing to ask for him, then he will definitely go. After all, he is in the 4th letter. At the same time, the training ground of Flamingo. Although Xiao Luo retired and lost his backbone, they still had to go all out for the second leg. As a veteran powerhouse, Flamingo has a good strength, and if the whole team plays well and the tactics are in place, it is not impossible to successfully block Lrina. After all, one of the biggest charms of football is the uncertainty of the game. His killing move was the stranglehold array, which was borrowed from Palmeiras. When Xiao Luo was still there before, although he did not directly oppose the strangling formation, he obviously did not execute the coach's tactics well in the arena. However, he does not blame Xiao Luo. After all, as a world superstar, winning the game has long been not Xiao Luo's goal. Now that Ronaldo is gone, the entire Flamingo team is bound to firmly execute his tactics. Strangled Chen Fong at the beginning, preferably so that he could not even touch the ball, and then played to the advantages of Flamengo's super striker. And before Carlos was injured, Palmeiras' tactics worked very well. 2 days later, the second leg of Lrina versus Flamengo began immediately, since it is the last match of the Copa del Brasil final, and the Copa Liberation has already competed for the championship. Fans in Brazil have set their sights on this match. Many fans around the world are also waiting in front of the TV for the start of this game. The starting list was announced, with Ronaldo Jr. and the seriously injured Bottinelli not on the list, and Flamengo on 2 substitutes, with players roughly the same as in the first leg. Next up is Lrina versus Flamengo. Can Flamengo without Ronaldo maintain their first leg advantage? And let's wait and see. Let's take a look at the starting lists of the two teams, which are not much different from the second leg. Chen Fong is still on the list as a starter. It seems that Chen Fong is in good shape. He is doing simple warm-up exercises on the sidelines. Thousands of miles away, Lu Qi, a commentator of Longwa CCTV Sports Channel, explained passionately. More and more fans have transferred TV channels to CCTV Sports Channel, and more fans have poured in the live broadcast rooms of major self-media. Without Xiao Luo's Flamenco, what else is there to look forward to? This game is a must-win for Dina. I used to only focus on the European League, although Messi and Ronaldo gave us a lot of surprises, but when it comes to watching, you have to watch the Brazilian League. Yes, the European arena pays attention to clean and neat, simple and rough ball style, although scoring goals is very important. But the game is ultimately for the spectators. Without the viewing, the fun is far worse. I don't know what stunt King Chen Wu can play this time. Watching Chen Wuwang's game is like watching freestyle football. Fancy football? It has tarnished King Chen Wu. It should be said that it is the strongest dance art in the world. Ha ha ha, upstairs, you have a lot of words, so you are right. You all put 10,000 hearts. Soon King Chen Wu will go to play in Europe. When will he be able to play in the Chinese Super League? The Chinese Super League gave him a dream annual salary. He should come, right? I heard that he only has an annual salary of 800,000 euros in Lrina, not even 10 million. Too little. Episode 55. Flamenco sacrifices the strangling array. Lone Wolf Chen Fong is really too difficult. There are only 2 hours left until the second leg officially begins. The organizers never expected that countless Chen Feng's fans came to the Lrina City Stadium in advance and set off fireworks in the stadium like the first round of the game. The instant crackle was deafening, shrouding the entire stadium in white smoke. Tens of thousands of fans shouted in unison, "Chen Wuwang, champion! King Chen Wu, champion! King Chen Wu, champion!" The staff of the organizer are full of confusion. Isn't this a way for Xiao Luo's fans to cheer? Why did Chen Feng's fans also come to this show? In order to maintain order in the stadium, the organizers hurriedly sent a large number of staff to stop fans from setting off fireworks. Please stop the fireworks and follow the rules of the stadium, otherwise you will be expelled. The loudspeakers held by the staff played over and over again. However, fans thought they hadn't heard it and insisted on finishing the fireworks. The staff turned dark to the extreme, and although they shouted to drive away, they only symbolically advised. After all, if they really want to drive, it will lead to fan refunds and reports, which is very unfavorable to them. You are not fans of Xiao Luo. Why should you use the method of cheering others on? Stop quickly. King Chen Wu doesn't want to see the smoke-filled stadium. A staff member was pressed and asked loudly, who knew that the next scene made him completely dumbfounded. The fans replied in unison, we are both fans of Xiao Luo and fans of Chen Wuwang. Xiao Luo retired, and he handed us all over to Chen Wuwang. As soon as these words came out, all the staff on the scene were dumbfounded. What the? They are Xiao Luo's fans, and now they are Chen Feng's fans? Is there still this riotous operation? Most fans' idols are basically unique, unless they are pseudo-fans. But looking at their passionate shouting and cheering, they don't look like pseudo-fans. In addition, these fans come from all over the world, different skin colors, races, languages, etc. Has Chen Fong really become a world star? The players of the two teams entered, but they did not expect that Chen Fong had just appeared, and all the fans stood up without exception, holding Chen Feng's name while shouting his name. Chen Fong didn't expect the formation to be so big. When did his fans become so many? On the other hand, there are almost no fans of Flamingo, and although the away stand area is full of fans, it seems that all shouts are Chen Fong. It turned out that there were too many of them to sit down, so they occupied the seats in the away stands. Anyway, it is empty, and it is not in vain. Flamenco was dumbfounded when he saw this situation. Xiao Luo retired and actually took all the Flamenco fans away. And Xiao Luo's only wish after retiring is to hope that Chen Fong can continue to show Samba football and shine in world football. So in order to fulfill Xiao Luo's wish, fans all fanned Chen Fong. Chen Fong had to learn Xiao Luo's appearance and waved to the fans, and this wave completely exploded the audience. After the referee's whistle blew the match, Flamengo took possession of the ball. As soon as the match began, Flamengo launched a fierce attack on Lrina. A trident consisting of Luis, Wellington, and Felipe headed straight into the Lrina penalty area. At the same time, four central defenders such as defenders Silva and Renato formed a tight blockade of Chen Fong. It seems that Flamenco learned the tactical essence of Palmeiras. I watched that game. Carlos formed an attacking engine and dealt a fatal blow to Lrina. Once Chen Fong can't show up, then the whole team of Lrina will be dumb. Flamenco seems to be desperate. Although Xiao Luo is gone, they don't want to lose this game. I'm very worried about Chen Fong. In the stands, countless fans expressed their feelings and opinions. Xiao He and Walter and others did not expect Flamengo to start so fiercely. They had to sacrifice the tactics of 10 guarantees and 1 to let Chen Fong show rice no matter what. The Flamenco formation pressed forward and fiercely launched a siege against Lrina. Luis was running at high speed and constantly distributing the ball to Wellington on the wing, and Lrina couldn't touch the ball at all. Beautiful. Luis picked up the ball and immediately passed it to Felipe. What does Felipe want to do? Felipe actually showed off, chest stop and barb shot. My god, is it so fighting? It's a pity, the shooting angle is no problem, but the strength is not enough. It seems that Felipe has to practice well. Luis quickly crosses the box and gets the ball straight back. Silva didn't dribble after taking the ball, but kicked straight to Pei. Oops, this ball is a half-high ball. I have to say that Lrina's defense is really in place, and the preparation during this period is still very effective. Longway commentator Lu Chi explained passionately, and all the fans in the live broadcast room stared intently at the game. Chen Fong, who was closely watched by several people, saw that Felipe's ball had not yet been passed and the arc was very low, just at the waist position. Although the ball is extremely fast, the strikers are not good at playing and lack angles. Chen Fong was firmly stuck in position, and there was no way to jump to the top. Lifting your foot to shoot is too high again. You must know that in this case, if you insist on crossing, it will cause the ball to fly out of the bottom line and make a strange move again. The next moment, Chen Fong simply chose to turn his back to the goal when he was stuck by Silva, and slammed a backspin kick without warning. Chen Feng's sudden shot surprised everyone. You know, he's facing away from the goal, and it's at zero angle. In fact, Chen Feng's idea is very simple. He just took the opportunity to kick indiscriminately to disrupt the other party's strangling of himself. Anyway, it's not good to pass in the middle, just shoot. Chen Wuwang chose to shoot. My god, this goal won't go in, right? What do you think? You're a doorman. King Chenwu has no way, there is no condition to pass. He can only shoot and try his luck. Sure enough, as expected, the ball spun towards the net, but because the goalkeeper had already predicted in advance, a high jump firmly grabbed the ball with both hands. The Flamingo goalkeeper served a goal ball and gave it to Luis. Luis once again launched a fierce attack on the Lrina penalty area. Under Lrina's iron barrel formation, Luis could not break through and could only pass to the sideline Felipe. Felipe was dribbling the ball to the right side of the goal frame. Wellington cut straight through. Felipe saw this and crossed. Not good. Chen Fong was extremely shocked in his heart. Wellington, Chen Fong jumped almost at the same time. Due to the super bounce force, Chen Fong took the lead and gave the ball to Xiaohe outside the penalty area. After taking the ball, Blackie accelerated to the opponent's access control. Walter responded on the flank. The two formed a pinching momentum, smoothly dangling through several Flamingo defenders between the electric flint. Blackie chose to kick and shoot, but unfortunately was saved by the goalkeeper. Everyone else has already rushed over. Felipe was in front of Chen Fong, and when he was about to touch the ball, Chen Fong used all his strength and flew towards the ball from the flank. Because the distance was so lost, Chen Fong shoveled heavily, and in an instant, his entire body moved forward for a short distance, and he abruptly protected the ball with his right foot. When the fans in the stands saw this scene, they were distressed one by one. Chen Fong, this is desperate. In other words, Xiaohe is too weak, and such a good shooting opportunity actually did not score. In order to save the ball, Chen Fong crawled abruptly for a distance in an instant. Really dedicated. After taking the ball, Chen Fong chose to retreat. After all, Flamengo's defense was too in place, facing several people's bags and tight defense. Chen Fong had to choose a back pass to pass the ball to Xiaohe. Blackie took the ball on the left and ran wildly with the ball on the left, trying to quickly cut forward and break through the box to shoot. Although Xiaohe's speed was good, he quickly left the opponent behind, but just broke into the box and faced the encirclement of three defenders. Xiaohe dribbled the ball with his left foot to the right, but he did not expect to be tackled out of the bottom line by the opposing defender Silva from the flank. I have to say that Xiaohe's technique is still too rough to stick the ball to his feet like Chen Fong, and when he dribbles the ball, he is seen by the other party. Then Lrina served a corner kick. Chen Fong took the ball. Facing the defenders, Chen Fong chose a gorgeous pick to pass over. After throwing off the defenders, he kicked a straight pass to Walter on the sideline. Walter did not choose to dribble, but passed to Blackie. Facing the big gap in the access control, Xiaohe did not hesitate at all, completed a turn on the right side to hit the goal, and the ball slid past the goal and jumped high with several people staring closely. Chen Fong suddenly ran at great speed, trying to shake off the defense of several people. However, the other party did not give a chance at all. Even the four of them directly formed a trap against Chen Fong, trying to make him completely unable to touch the ball. Under a physical confrontation, 1 against 4, Chen Fong did not suffer a loss, but he knew that it would be meaningless to attack if he continued to stalemate like this. Just when his face was full of anxiety and didn't know what to do, a GIF phantom suddenly appeared in his mind. It was the pay arc. And on the right side of the phantom, there was an additional pillar of light, and the splash-like things in the pillar of light continued to soar. As long as several of Flamengo's defenses suppress harder, the higher the splash rises. Could it be that this is the role of suppressing anti-show cards the more? Chen Fong paused in his heart. This is also too interesting. In an instant, the water splashed overhead. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting a chance to get a full Samba skill. The system prompts, full-level Samba skills? That is, it is equivalent to 10,000 dream points all full? That's terrifying. In the next instant, Chen Fong slammed the lower position of the middle of the ball with the front of his inner foot, and the ball flew out abruptly, spun to the upper right, and spun out under the eyes of several defenders, and several people were dumbfounded, and then weirdly about to shoot into the net. The goalkeeper saw the moment and flew towards the ball with a swoop. However, during the time of flying out, the ball actually formed a great angle of change in direction in the air, originally flying towards the right corner of the goal, and then refracted into the net at a large angle of 135 degrees. The score is 1-0. Lrina holds the race point. At this moment, all the fans present were completely crazy. Chen, it's great. Wow, this seems to be the legendary pay arc, right? This is David Beckham's exclusive stunt. With such a large rotation angle, how can I feel even more outrageous than David Beckham's kick? Off the big spectrum, have you ever seen a ball that was kicked out directly folded horizontally at such a large angle? It's unbelievable. We haven't seen Chen Fong play this trick in the arena before. It's so gorgeous, it's so soul-destroying, I see that my heart is about to jump out. King Chen Wu, champion. King Chen Wu, champion. King Chen Wu, champion. At the same time, the fans of the Dragon Kingdom thousands of miles away were also completely shocked, and the live broadcast room once dominated the screen. It's simply a god, it's incredible. In other words, what kind of monster is Chen Fong? He can do any stunt. I decided, I'm going to find Chen Feng's home to see if there is some mysterious place in his home that can allow Chen Fong to obtain football secrets. I am also very curious, what kind of family can cultivate such a genius? Go, count me in. I heard that his father is in business and his mother is a model. This may be the ancestral father's teaching, otherwise Chen Feng's ball skills would not have come out of thin air. 18. In other words, Chen Feng's gorgeous ball skills can still be shown in Europe? I don't know, it depends on his personal strength. For example, De Luo, Xiao Luo shows up in Europe. Shuang Luo is still more pragmatic. In contrast, Chen Feng's style is too tumultuous. Due to Chen Feng's excellent skills in the Brazil Cup, many Longwo reporters have already looked up the addresses of Chen Ping and Lrina through various relationships, and they want to interview the two and ask them what their education methods are. After all, Chen Fong now has more and more fans in the Dragon Kingdom, and his influence is increasing, and doing a family interview with Chen Fong is estimated to win a lot of traffic. And fans are also looking forward to it, wanting to see Chen Feng's family growth environment. Chen Ping is very low-key in his work, and his address is often changed. After all, as a businessman, he must have an excellent sense of confidentiality. If they are ordinary people, journalists can quickly find their addresses. In Mato Grosso, the uncle's family saw Chen Feng Tiangxiu shoot and score, and they were happy and rejoiced one by one. I want to call my sister and let them also watch Chen Feng's match. My uncle suddenly became interested. No, Dad, it's not ripe yet. Alice grabbed her father. My cousin said that at least he will have to wait until he wins the Copa de Brazil. Alice pouted. When her father heard this, he gave up. Although Chen Feng's performance in the arena was too good, he liked that his sister could also see this match. But since Chen Fong had already explained, he would give up. Episode 56. The more suppressed, the more Xiao, Chen Fengxiu, turned the Brazilian Cup. Flamengo's players were dumbfounded. They were not mistaken. Chen Fong just played the free kick master David Beckham's famous stunt pay curve. But know that when David Beckham used this stunt, he charged up when serving a free kick. His left arm had a very large arc, and the angle of his body tilt was also very large, more than 45 degrees. Therefore, his left foot supports the ankle with a great burden. Coupled with the moment of force, the left foot will move forward with the body, which can easily cause the ankle ligament to tear. This is the main reason why pay arc became a swan song to the surprise of the players. Chen Fong had just directly proposed the pay arc in the high-speed running state. Even if it is in a static state, only Beckham can do it. If it is in a high-speed running state, it must complete the charge in an instant. Even Beckham can't do it. God, it's a big. Unbelievable, unbelievable. What the hell did this kid eat and grow up? Why is he getting more and more evil? Amazing, this is the first time I've seen someone kick out of the pay arc in the ring, or in the middle of a high-speed run. I don't know how Beckham, who is about to retire, will feel when he sees the scene. I guess David Beckham will be scared out of a heart attack by this kid. The game continues. Flamengo completely activated the fighting power by conceding a goal. They agreed that the last goal was caused by poor defense, so as soon as the kick-off, for Flamengo defenders further suppressed Chen Fong. Come on, just suppress me. The suppressed Chen Fong was not only not annoyed at all, but revealed a trace of an evil smile that made his opponent fearful. What is this kid doing? It's all this time and I can laugh? The head coach off the field, Koscielny, looked at Chen Fong with a confused expression. Although Chen Fong Tianxiu kicked out the pay arc just now, it was purely a fluke that he got rid of the opponent's defense. Opportunities don't come every time. As soon as he scored a goal, it immediately floated? Wait until halftime. 17 has to give him a good beating. The camera perfectly captured Chen Feng's evil smile, which instantly attracted the attention of fans. Something is wrong. Chen Wuwang won't play any tricks again, right? Upstairs, pay attention to your words. I smell a slight bit of something wrong, and I'll surprise everyone again later. King Chen Wu won't be suppressed to burst his mentality, right? I can still laugh at this time. You guys can't afford to kneel, right? For people are strictly guarding him, inseparable. What tricks do you think he can make? That is, I see that King Chen Wu is going to hang up now, but to score a goal is also ridiculously strong. Flamenco is a little unethical, so many people go to the defense. Aren't they afraid of the rest of Lrina? At this moment, I just want to say that Chen Wuwang is the tail juice. Since most Flamengo players keep their eyes fixed on Chen Fong, this gives Xiao He and Walter a chance. After Xiaohe broke the ball back to the defense, he launched a counterattack on the spot, a dragon killed into the box, and finally scored the ball to let Walter face the goalkeeper. I saw the veteran Walter kick across to the other winger, but did not expect to be blocked by Flamengo's defender. Walter desperately quickly cut forward, with a beautiful header to top the ball against the goal frame. However, due to the problem of angle deviation, the ball hit the door frame straight and bounced back. The four players defending Chen Fong remained unmoved, although they had more opportunities and angles to grab the ball, but they have already received the death order from the head coach. As long as they are strictly defensive against Chen Fong, try not to care about the rest. After all, as long as Chen Fong is trapped, Lrina's strength will plummet, and even 7 versus 10 Flamingo is very sure that he can win the game. Seeing this scene, Chen Fong couldn't help but show an evil smile again. If the system is not upgraded and he does not fuse to suppress the anti-show card, then their tactics are very effective. After all, when he played against Palmeiras before, Chen Fong suffered a big loss. If Carlos hadn't been seriously injured, they would have lost that game. But now, he is not the same now. Lrina and Flamengo were locked in a dogfight, and the two teams fought fiercely in the Flamengo penalty area, with Blackie and Walter shooting twice, but they were eventually cracked by Flamengo. It has to be said that the Flamengo 7 can indeed fight against Lrina's 10. This is the gap in comprehensive strength, which is difficult to make up for a while. Seeing that Lrina fell into great passivity, the fans on the field were anxious one by one, their eyes were staring at the arena all the time, their hands were tightly clenched into fists, secretly cheering for Lrina. Chen Fong charged his strength, accelerated abruptly in place, and then abnormally moved around the field in a wide area. Yes. He just wants to use his super physical strength to get rid of the defenders. After all, if this is not done, Flamenco's suppression of him will not escalate. Only by provoking them, teasing them, and completely provoking them will they escalate their suppression of Chen Fong. In an instant, the famous scene on the field appeared, and Chen Fong ran without the ball. Flamengo's 4 defenders followed there. This scene seems familiar. Doesn't Flamenco know that compared with Chen Wuwang's physical strength, is it to seek his own death? Yes, Flamenco can't not know. In terms of physical strength and running speed, Chen Fong is the top of the top. I really want to see Chen Fong and the Flying Man Bolt have a 100-meter sprint race. Maybe Chen Wuwang will not lose. Flamenco is definitely not so stupid, they will definitely have a way to deal with it later. After chasing for a while, the Flamengo players realized that something was wrong and they would definitely suffer if they consumed it like this. Just don't run, several people each stand in a gap. As long as Chen Fong does not approach the Flamenco penalty area, there is no need to strictly prevent him from dying. I saw that after Xiaohe returned to defend the broken ball, he aimed at Chen Fong, who was in a big gap, and passed to him with an ultra-long-range shot. Chen Fong got the ball and instantly accelerated wildly. It's broken. Flamengo then knew that they were deceived, and this kid played them again. Chen Fong was like a gallop, and rushed to the Flamengo penalty area with the ball. The goalkeeper saw Chen Fong running over, and his blood pressure increased sharply in an instant. No way, Chen Feng's kid is too good at making people's mentality. He has many ghost tricks, he really can't cope with it. I saw the goalkeeper leaning towards Chen Fong, opening his arms, ready to block Chen Feng's shot. Who knew that Chen Fong did not shoot directly? Seeing the goalkeeper coming, Chen Feng's body shifted his center of gravity to the left, and the moment he saw the goalkeeper move to the left, he immediately used the instep of his right foot to swing the ball to the right. When the goalkeeper reacted again, Chen Fong swung the ball to the left with his left foot, and then charged back with his right foot, making a gesture to shoot. The goalkeeper immediately flew to the right, but Chen Fong quickly retracted the force of his right foot, and just gently dialed the ball to the left. The goalkeeper was so angry that his face was red, so he had to quickly retract his body, defend to the left. Chen Fong charged his left foot, and made a shooting posture again, and the goalkeeper flew directly to the left side, and the whole person was lying on the ground. However, the fact once again broke him down, because Chen Fong did not really shoot again. He dribbled to the right side, and the goalkeeper did not have time to fully stand up, and could only choose to support his hands on the ground. The 4 feet ran ferociously to the right side. At this point, the rest of Flamengo's teammates ran over and blocked the goalkeeper in front of the goal frame. Chen Fong once again made a 180-degree maneuver, swung past several defenders, and then kicked straight and shot the ball into the net. The score came to 2-0. The scene of this successful shooting by the goalkeeper instantly ignited the audience. All Chen Feng's fans were completely excited, and they jumped up in the stands frantically, shouting Chen Feng's name loudly. Excited, they hugged each other and were proud of Chen Feng's shocking move at this moment. At the same time, the mentality of the goalkeeper who was being teased completely collapsed, and the whole person was directly paralyzed in the doorframe, his eyes staring desperately at the blue sky. You must know that he is a veteran of the Baja Liga, who has been playing with Flamengo for more than 10 years and once won the Brazilian Golden Glove. He also once stood on the podium and was admired by countless goalkeepers. After all, Golden Glove is the highest award a goalkeeper can get. But now, he was actually played by a rising star in Brazil's top arena. The problem is that he played more than once, and after the whole process, he was played more than 10 times. Since playing in the Baja Liga League, he has never suffered such an insult, which is simply a great shame. What face will he have in the future? His career collapsed completely. What? What just happened? I really didn't see it clearly. Ha 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 ha, it's wonderful, although the goalkeeper is very pitiful. I usually don't laugh unless I can't help it. You people, you are really unsympathetic, and the mentality of the goalkeeper is probably broken. Since they all collapsed, then sympathizing with him will not work. Let's laugh to heart's content. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha, this kid is too special to show. What's wrong with showing? Have to embarrass a goalkeeper. Flamengo's goalkeeper is expected to be forced to retire. Big night, I laughed out of the pig barking. Please forgive me, I really didn't mean to. In the live broadcast room of Longwa CCTV Sports Channel, fans once again dominated the screen. At this moment, even if it was Lu Qi, he couldn't help but stop explaining for a while, because Chen Feng's tumultuous operations were too much, and there were all kinds of tricks in an instant, and he couldn't find the right words to describe it. I can only hold back my smile. After all, as a famous commentator, once you laugh during the commentary, you have a great risk of facing punishment. At the same time, the Flamengo manager, who was sitting in the dugout, had darkened to the extreme. Haha, this kid is making a fuss, it's really nobody. Assistant coach Pardo couldn't help but laugh. In this kind of top arena, it is good that he can play, change to other people, and play normally. Koscielny echoed, cousin, what kind of moth is this? He can shoot directly. Alice's beautiful eyes flickered, puzzled. Chen, this is deliberately engaging in mentality, he just wants to collapse flamenco. Sarana could see Chen Feng's intentions at a glance. It's just a pity that my uncle and aunt didn't see this scene, otherwise they would all wonder how their usually serious cousin became so coquettish as soon as he entered the arena. Have you seen the horses race? At that time, the whole of Brazil was saying that the horses were too showy and too coquettish. Now it seems that if you want to talk about the show, you still have to Chen. If you want to talk about it, you also have to be Chen. Sandra on the side couldn't help but sigh. Ah ha 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 ha. The stands erupted into bursts of laughter immediately after burst of laughter. It's as if they're watching a funny movie, not a football game. Several of Flamengo's main players have surprisingly dark faces, and teasing their goalkeepers like this is not hitting them in the face. How can this be endured? Lewis and the others stepped forward to pull the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper was paralyzed on the ground, his eyes were blank. No matter how they shouted, they should not shout. Can you cheer up? 8-10, this is the Copa do Brasil final, Lewis roared, but the goalkeeper seemed to have lost his heart and went crazy, and he couldn't hear his roar at all. The other teammates were worried about whether the goalkeeper had suffered some injury. After all, it was a flying tackle and a flying pounce before, and the twisting of various postures was interpreted by the goalkeeper over and over again. Lewis had to hurriedly call the team doctor. The team doctor carried the stretcher on the field, and after the initial examination, it was found that there was no big problem. It may have been hit hard, the mentality was unbalanced, and he suddenly closed himself. What? Autistic? Lewis thought he had misheard. Wasn't he shown by that kid? No need for autism, right? The Flamengo manager had to make a substitution, replacing the substitute goalkeeper. And the main goalkeeper also became the first goalkeeper in the Copa Brazil to explode mentally and be carried off the field on a stretcher. Chen, was it too much just now? Walter came to Chen Fong and asked softly. Chen Fong smiled indifferently. Why don't you say that flamenco strangled me? It's too much. Don't teach them a lesson, they think I'm a sick cat. The game continued to start, but the first half was almost over, and as soon as the two sides were fighting, the referee blew the whistle for the end of the first half. Intermission. Lrina lounge. Chen, you show back, but it also depends on the occasion, you can shoot with one kick. Assistant coach Pardo said, with a hint of reproach in his tone. Coach, they imprisoned me first, I really can't bear it. Only in this way can their arrogance be combated, Chen Fong explained. Winning or losing is what matters, and I hope you are always aware of that. Koscielny added. Meanwhile, flamenco player lounge. That kid is too much, he actually humiliated Amick so much. This revenge will not be rewarded, I swear not to be human. Felipe gritted his teeth and slapped the table hard. Felipe, don't get too excited, Chen Fong, this kid is really a difficult species. We'll have to think of new ways. Wellington offered his opinion. That's right, that kid has a treacherous style and always comes up with all kinds of ghost ideas to catch us off guard. I originally thought that the horse was the best show person I had ever seen, but I didn't expect this kid to be more showy than the horse. It's not just a show, it's just a commotion to the extreme. I've never seen anything so tumultuous. Now as soon as I see him, I can't wait to slap him to death. Don't be angry, the most taboo thing on the court is anger. Once the mentality explodes, there is no fun. After thinking for a while, the Flamengo coach said, we still have to carry out a strangling formation against Chen Fong. This is the only way. Now we can't think of new tactics for a while, and we can only be a living horse doctor. Episode 57. Chen Fong incarnated as a stadium ghost and sealed his throat with a sword. The whistle sounded in the second half of the game, and tens of thousands of fans exploded again, and tens of thousands of people undressed and waved on the scene. As soon as Lrina kicked off, Flamengo's defense was very tough. First of all, he continued to strangle Chen Fong, and there were always 4 defenders around him who kept a close eye on him and did their best to prevent him from taking the ball. Chen Fong simply chose stealth. It is better to be a court ghost. Flamengo has long smelled a trace of something wrong. Chen Fong, this kid has too many ideas, he can't guard against it, and he can't blindly put all his troops into suppressing Chen Fong. In the first half, Flamengo forcefully suppressed Chen Fong, but was shown back by Chen Fong, and the ghost kicked out Beckham's famous stunt pay arc. So Flamengo slightly relaxed his suppression of Chen Fong and began to return to his defensive position. After Walter took the ball, he dribbled continuously, trying to shake past the defenders to pass the ball to Chen Fong, but Chen Fong was surrounded by Flamengo and could not get through, and there was no passing angle. Striker Lewis aimed at Walter's hesitant timing and made a sliding tackle on the flank to cut off Walter's ball. Flamengo quickly completed the offensive and defensive switch. Lewis single-handedly plunged into the heart of Lrina, and after shaking a few defenders, Lewis still had no idea of passing the ball. It seems that he is cross-hearted and ready to fight. Oops. Seeing this, Chen Fong was secretly shocked. I have to say that Lewis' offensive firepower is very ferocious. It seems that Lrina's first 2 goals completely infuriated him. Lrina's defensive line was instantly torn apart by him, and if he didn't take countermeasures, he was afraid that he would succeed. When you are impatient, you are prone to make mistakes. Chen Fong suddenly started to accelerate and ran towards the box, causing the defenders to misjudge him to stop Lewis from shooting. Several people accelerated to chase and intercept Chen Fong. Lewis was about to shoot. Several defenders, as players in the Baja Liga, naturally knew how to prevent offside, and tried to press Chen Fong to avoid offside. But beyond that, they also need to keep an eye on Luis's ball, and if the ball is saved by the goalkeeper when the shot is taken, they must always shoot straight in. As a veteran of the Baja Liga, Luis naturally knows how to time his shots and prevent offside. Once a goal is scored offside, not only will all efforts be wasted, but it will also seriously blow the mentality of the players. On the field, offside balls and own goals are very frequent, and almost any veteran has a lot of experience to avoid them. However, Lewis still underestimated Chen Fong, who had a lot of tricks, and at the moment when Lewis got up to pass the ball, Chen Fong seized this opportunity and instantly withdrew half of his body, and Flamengo's defender Silva was closer to Lrina's goal line than Chen Fong. Silva did not find himself in an offside position, but only watched the incoming ball shake his head hard and smoothly pushed the ball towards the goal. Lrina's goalkeeper flew to the ball, but due to the excellent angle, the ball went firmly into the net. The few fans of Flamengo instantly boiled, holding high the flag and shouting with all their might. Silva scored the first goal of the Copa Brazil final and turned his head in excitement on the field, and the entire Flamengo team ran towards Silva and Luis and lifted them high. Although it was Silva who shot on goal, the ball was fed by Luis, and without Luis, Silva would not have had a chance to score. Luis is the biggest contributor. Just as the Flamengo team cheered, the linesman suddenly raised the flag to signal that the goal that Flamengo had just scored was offside. The reason why the linesman did not raise the flag at the first time was because he was not sure, so he communicated with the referee in the headset, and then the referee also gave an answer: Silva was indeed offside. Seeing a goal scored after so much hard work and being blown away like this, Silva's mentality collapsed. Silva couldn't figure it out. His eyes never left Chen Feng's own receiving the ball. Chen Fong was obviously closer to the opponent's goal line than himself. How could he be offside? Without knowing Silva, the mentality of all the members of the Flamengo team was hit hard. I thought that I had won a goal with difficulty, and the whole team was also celebrating wildly, but I didn't expect that it was an offside ball for a long time. It's a shame to the extreme. And the few Flamengo fans are lamenting, and the faith in their hearts is gradually collapsing. Hearing that it was an invalid offside ball, Lrina's fans once again raised their hands and cheered, and the whole court exploded again. And the deafening cheers once again hammered the mentality of Flamengo. Chen, you are such a strange group. Walter saw the key to the problem, and it was Chen Fong who teased the opposing defender Silva. No wonder Chen Fong didn't snipe Luis. It turned out that he wanted to remember the offside ball, to hit the opponent's mentality again. That's smart. Walter gave Chen Fong a thumbs up. Chen, why do you have so many ghost ideas? I really want to see what you have in your head. Xiao He came over and put his arm on Chen Feng's shoulder and looked at him with admiration. Isn't anti-offside the consciousness that a professional player should have? Silva only cares about guarding me strictly, but forgot to strengthen skills training, scored a goal for nothing, deserved it. Chen Fong grinned and stuck out his tongue at the camera. This scene made the netizens in front of the TV and the live broadcast room completely fry. I leaned on, engaged for a long time. This is another ghost trick played by Chen Fong. Before playing the goalkeeper and breaking the mentality of the goalkeeper, this time playing the defender, is it possible that Chen Fong wants to break the mentality of all the players of Flamengo? This evil laugh and tongue sticking out made me obsessed. If I can spend the night with Chen, even if it's only one night, I will definitely squeeze him dry. Upstairs, it's excessive. Watch out for Uncle Internet Police to talk to you. Ha ha ha, Flamengo estimates that the mentality has begun to collapse again. It's really pitiful, and it has suffered critical hits again and again. It's like buying a lottery ticket and winning 5 million, going crazy with joy, only to be immediately told that the number was wrong. Ah ha ha ha. Silva and Luis don't know if they can withstand this critical hit. Thousands of miles away in the Dragon Kingdom, netizens collectively fryer. Although most of them are fans of Messi and Ronaldo, after all, as the bipolar world of football in the world, they are at their peak, and their aura is extremely dazzling, and they are also the most watched by the world. But because of watching Chen Feng's game, many people gradually fell in love with Chen Fong, a serious player on the field, who was extremely handsome and coquettish. It's so thrilling. I thought Flamenco got a round back, Lrina said worriedly. I thought it was strange at first. Why didn't my cousin snipe at Lewis? It turned out that he still had a hand. Originally, Chen was a rookie, but these veterans were all turned over by them, and this role changed quickly. Alice, Lrina, and Sandra discussed flying. The game went on and Lrina took possession of the ball, and it was clear that the offside goal had hit the mentality of all Flamengo very hard. The offensive advantage has been sharply reduced, and it can be seen that confidence has been greatly hit. But Silva, encouraged by his teammates, still cheered up, set his eyes on Chen Fong as soon as he came on the field, and repeatedly warned himself that he could never make mistakes again. Chen Fong was still chased and blocked by 4 defenders. There was no chance to get the ball at all. He was too lazy to break through to trick the other party to strengthen his suppression. Anyway, there were only 20 minutes left in the game, and Flamengo did not have many chances. Blackie and Walter formed a striker combination and went straight into the Flamengo penalty area. Blackie kicked straight to Walter, and Walter pushed sideways, but was fiercely surrounded by Flamengo and had to pass to Blackie again. In the fierce fight with central defender Renato, the two had a fierce physical confrontation. Xiaohei's right foot stepped on the edge of Renato's thigh. The whole foot was severely bent, the ankle was bent 90 degrees, and Xiaohei immediately let out a violent scream. The referee immediately blew the whistle for Renato's foul. Seeing this, Lrina's team doctor hurried to the field to check on Blackie's injury. It is obvious from the lens that Xiaohei's right ankle is extremely swollen and swollen into a pig's trotter. Due to excessive pain, Xiaohei grinned in pain. Blackie. Sandra in the stand stood up abruptly, her face full of horror. I'm going to go over and take a look. Sandra got up and wanted to run towards the court, but was pulled back by Alice. Don't be excited, now the game is not over. You can't stop the stadium, so many team doctors have already gone. Rest assured, it won't be a big problem. Yes, don't worry, it'll be fine. Lrina also exhorted. In the middle of the game, Chen Fong hurriedly walked towards Xiaohei, and Xiaohei's ankle was swollen into pig's trotters. It seems that the injury is not light. Although this is an accident that occurs in the normal fight process, Renato cannot be blamed, but if Xiaohei cannot play, then Chen Fong will lose one left arm, and his combat effectiveness will decline rapidly. The team doctor checked Xiaohei's injuries and preliminarily determined that he could no longer play and must be rushed to the hospital. Chen, Walter, you must come on and win the game. When he was carried away, Xiaohei encouraged loudly, don't worry, you go to the healing. Chen Fong smiled indifferently. As the well-deserved team soul of the whole team, Chen Fong at this moment showed an incomparably calm temperament. Even though Xiaohei was seriously injured, the military must not be disturbed, and he must stabilize the emotions of the players. After Blackie left the pitch, head coach Kosciuri replaced a substitute striker. After being carried out of the arena, Sandra ran towards Blackie, and Alice was worried that Sandra was alone, so she also ran over. Lrina chose to continue in the stands. She must cheer for Chen Fong, must see the moment when Chen Fong won the championship. The game continued. Without Xiaohei's organization and cooperation, Lrina's combat effectiveness dropped a lot, plus Chen Fong was still in the formation of being strangled, and only the veteran Walter remained. After all, Walter is older and inferior to younger players in terms of physical strength and endurance. With only the last 20 minutes left in the game, Walter was visibly exhausted. Oops. Chen Fong knew that he had to stand up, otherwise at the last moment, Flamenco still had a chance to take revenge. Walter dribbled sideways all the way frontally, pushing hard towards the Flamengo penalty area. And Chen Fong was also deliberately because the opponent relaxed his defense of Chen Fong. Reduce your presence and let the opponent relax their defense even more. I saw Walter advance the opponent's small penalty area. Facing the opponent's defense, Walter chose to pass to the central defender, and after the central defender deceived the defenders, he shot with his right foot but was saved by the goalkeeper. Seeing this, Chen Fong instantly turned into a ghost on the pitch, and appeared in front of the opposing goalkeeper strangely. Taking advantage of the goalkeeper's lack of attention, Chen Fong jumped high, and the ball saved by the goalkeeper was blocked by Chen Feng's chest. In the electric flint, Chen Feng's chest stop and a barb score, the ball bypassed the goalkeeper in an instant and slammed into the net. The score is 3-0. In the second leg, Chen Fong scored twice again to help Lrina throw off Flamengo 3-0. At this moment, the audience was boiling again. There is a female fan with a perfect body and super good looks. Because she is too excited, she stands on the table and directly lifts her underwear to celebrate, and also turns to face the person behind her, and then raises her hands and shouts. At this moment, all the male fans in the stadium looked straight at each other. You must know that in the stands, it is very rare to dare to sacrifice your own stunning stunner. The male fans not only saw the great game, but also feasted their eyes. And at this moment, Chen Fong no longer chooses to be silent. This is Brazil's top event, where the last game of the championship battle, Chen Fong scored twice, completely showed the whole game. Excited, he broke the goal and ran wildly, completely announcing to the world that Chen Fong has conquered the whole Brazil with his skills, and he will conquer the world with his perfect performance. One by one, Lrina's players ran madly towards Chen Fong and lifted him high. At the same time, the Flamingo players were all confused. What was going on just now? Why did Chen Fong suddenly come to the front of the goalkeeper? You must know that the 4 defenders have been keeping a close eye on him, and it is logical that he cannot break through. But Chen Fong is still like a ghost. The ghost appeared in the most appropriate position, and what is even more incredible is that he chose to stop the ball and barb the goal in front of the goalkeeper's face. This is even more treacherous than Inzaghi, the fox of the forbidden area. At this moment, the mentality of the Flamengo players has completely exploded. Prevention is not prevention is not. What do they have to do to strangle Chen Fong? Chest stop and barb score? And in front of the goalkeeper, my god, this operation is terrifying. Where does King Chen Wu come from with confidence? That's too confident, isn't it? It's so exciting. I watched the replay of that shot just now. I watched it 100 times. National football, this is impossible. This is absolutely cheating, impossible. In other words, how did King Chen Wu float to the goalkeeper? I really didn't see it clearly. Upstairs, I just looked back many times. Chen Wuwang's speed is too fast. Flamenco doesn't have time to react. Too late to react? Like a ghost, a sword seals the throat, my mother. 1. Lying groove. Chen Fong also began to stop talking about martial virtue, flamenco rat tail juice. I seem to see the dawn of victory waving to Lrina. With this game, Chen Feng's worth can exceed 100 million, right? Over 100 million? Yes, but it should be the euro. It's terrifying, it's unbelievable. The problem is that his movements are still so gorgeous. In one go, he can't see half stiff. Such a player, our Longchow club is not unable to afford it. I have to write a letter to the national pawn and let them spend a huge amount of money to buy Chen Wuwang. Upstairs, I advise you to wash up and go to sleep. You will only daydream all day long, and there are still 10 minutes left, including the extra time. But Flamengo's mentality was greatly affected, and he could no longer withstand Lrina's strong attack. For these last 10 minutes, Flamengo had to choose surviving with a broken wrist and do his best. As soon as the Lrina team got the ball, Flamengo began to fight fiercely, including pushing, pulling, tackles, and a series of violations. The referee flashed 5 yellow cards in a row in the last 10 minutes, all for Flamengo. Chen Fong also knew that Flamengo was in a hurry, but he also made gestures to keep Lrina's players sane and not form a match. Episode 58. Crazy suppression, crazy being show? The striker mentality collapsed. After Chen Fong broke the ball and returned to defense, he suddenly started to insert straight into the Flamengo penalty area, dribbling, and the passing was extremely coquettish and gorgeous. Once again, it puts a lot of pressure on Flamengo. Although this goalkeeper was a substitute, the scene of the main goalkeeper playing before still made him scared. Chen Fong approached the penalty area, and the substitute goalkeeper could not suppress his legs trembling. This scene was successfully captured by the camera. What? The substitute goalkeeper's legs are shaking. This deterrent is too great, right? My god, if I were a flamenco and experienced such a nightmare, there would indeed be shadows. King Chen Wu single-handedly collapsed a Beijia powerhouse. It's unimaginable. Won't you be scared to pee your pants? Don't laugh at him. As a substitute goalkeeper, the pressure is also imaginable, not to mention that this is in the top field in Brazil, facing a commotion king like Chen Wuwang. Upstairs, it makes sense. Everyone should sympathize with this goalkeeper and cheer for him. Realizing that the crisis was coming again, all 7 flamenco defenders surrounded Chen Fong. The game can be lost, but Chen Fong is not allowed to show again. Every time you show, it's equivalent to slap the flamenco team hard. They can't afford to lose this face. Flamengo offensive forwards, including Lewis, Wellington, Felipe, and others rushed towards Chen Fong. Flamenco strangled Chen Fong again. It seems that this time it is pouring out, leaving no room for it. One can imagine how much pressure Chen Fong has caused on Flamenco. As soon as he gets the ball, the whole Flamengo team begins to panic. This huge and incomparable deterrent must be extremely rare in Brazil. Casimiro, a famous commentator of Brazilian football, said excitedly this is the first time Casimiro has commented on Chen Feng's matches, and as a famous commentator, he will only appear at the most important top events, such as Brazil Cup, Liberation Cup, etc. In other matches, even the Baja Liga League, he rarely appeared in commentary. Unexpectedly, the first time he commented, he was completely conquered by Chen Feng's magical, gorgeous, and soul-destroying ball skills. I sighed countless times in my heart, I really am a genius. After De Luo and Xiao Luo retired, Casimiro's eyes were on the horse. He once thought that the horse was the last dancer of the future Samba football and the only hope, but now it seems that Chen 060 Feng's strength seems to have the possibility of surpassing the horse. If Chen Fong helps Lrina win the Copa de la Paz and horses have helped Santos win the Copa Libertador, the two teams will inevitably meet in the Baja Liga, and they will only have a huge impact in Brazilian football and even world football. He was looking forward to this day. Flamengo is open-minded, they seem a little impulsive. Wellington made a sliding tackle from behind. Chen Fong is in danger. This is against the rules. The linesman did not blow the whistle, probably because the Wellington sliding tackle only touched the ball, but did not touch Chen Fong. Dangerous. Felipe and Chen Fong were engaged in a physical confrontation, while Luis burst in from the flank to try to cut off Chen Feng's ball. I have to say that although Flamengo is hot, they still uphold the principle of not hurting people, which is commendable. Fighting for himself, fighting for the glory of the team, Flamengo performed great at the last minute. What the? With his own strength, Chen Fong actually firmly controlled the ball under his feet, which is incredible. Chen Fong was suppressed so that there was no breakthrough, and Lrina's teammates were very anxious. In the face of the powerful and incomparable suppression, a GIF phantom appeared in Chen Feng's mind again. It was the 720-degree swing straight plug plus scorpion swinging tail. To know that 720 degrees of rotation is already a high-level ball method of Samba ball skills, the scorpion positioning is even more shocking, and the player's physical strength, consciousness, and ball skills have a super high ability. If it weren't for the system upgrade, Chen Fong would have to wait for all the dream points in the Samba skill column to be full to see if he could complete such a difficult skill. After all, he has not tried it, and I don't know if there will be any special requirements hidden after the system. And next to the phantom shadow, the pillar of suppressed light appeared again, and the water spray in the pillar of light continued to surge and soar. Chen Fong silently recited in his heart, 321. Between the electric light and flint, a mysterious evil smile appeared at the corner of Chen Feng's mouth again, and then faced with Flamenco like an iron chase and blocking, Chen Fong dribbled the ball with his right foot, with the most artistic, gorgeous ball style, in an instant like a ghost fox shadow, quickly sacrificed 720 degrees of rotation, in the flowing, soul-destroying dribbling rotation, in an instant, left the 7 defenders of Flamenco behind. What about people? To hell with it, what was it just now? So fast, he actually dangled in front of my eyes. I seemed to see a ghostly shadow flashing by. What the hell is this kid? He can break through such suppression and containment. Flamengo's defenders were completely stunned. They were all players who had played in the Bundesliga for many years, and some had even tried out at top European clubs, but they had never seen such a monster. But then a scene that shocked them even more appeared. After Chen Fong quickly broke through, Flamenco on the court, Lrina's players were dumbfounded. The fans in the stands opened their mouths in amazement, and before everyone could recover from the shock, Chen Fong broke through to the Flamengo penalty area. Facing a goal with only the goalkeeper, all the pressure comes to the goalkeeper at this point. The goalkeeper, who was originally just shaking his legs, is now more rigid and blind, and he seems to foreshadow his end. This time, Chen Fong won't play the goalkeeper anymore, right? Wait a minute, I'm going to watch the replay of the section that just broke through 10,000 times. It's really shocking. How do I have the feeling that the viewing of Brazil's top stadium has completely surpassed the Liberation Cup? Only the horse is playing. Alone in the Liberation Cup. I hope the goalkeeper will not be scared to pee his pants, otherwise his football career is estimated to end here. At this moment, an unexpected scene appeared for everyone. Chen Fong instantly soared into the air, his hands stretched out like wings, his knees and hips stretched out, his feet showed extremely strong strength, and he slammed the ball into the opponent's goal. Because Chen Fong soared into the air, blocking the goalkeeper's line of sight, coupled with the goalkeeper's once nervous legs shaking, the reaction speed dropped sharply, the ball swept into the goal in front of his eyes, and the goalkeeper still did not come to his senses in a trance. And Chen Feng's left leg was like a scorpion tail flicked, light and graceful, making the audience boil again. The score came to 4-0. And Chen Fong also completed a hat-trick in the Brazil Cup Championship match. My God, I'm stunned. Help, who will save me? My blood pressure has been skyrocketing, I am about to faint. I seriously doubt that the scene I just saw is fake. Am I daydreaming? Scorpion positioning? How could this stunt be at the top of Brazil? At this moment, world football is just going to boil. I wonder how Messi and Ronaldo will feel when they see this scene. Upstairs, don't think too much. These top European stars are very arrogant, and the most despised is Samba football. They will definitely think that this kind of insect carving trick is impossible to perform in the top European arena, because they won't give anything a chance, is it? But just now, King Chen Wu has already faced great suppression. In this case, he can still show up. Will he be dumb when he goes to the European arena? I don't believe it. It's just shocking. Off the big spectrum, historically, there are only a few people who can make a scorpion position on the field. Chen Fong is really a crazy striker, too crazy and too showy. He can fascinate each and every one of us. Reality and dream, I can't tell the difference at all. King Chen Wu once again brought us into a dream. At this point, the referee blew the whistle for the end of the game. In the second leg of the Copa Brazil Championship, Lrina ended Flamingo 4-0. Plus 3-3 in the first leg. Lrina won the Copa de Biologia do Brazil with a score of 7-3. This is also the highest honor won by the Lrina team so far. At this moment, tens of thousands of fans in the audience were boiling with enthusiasm, and many stunning stunners took off their tops excitedly, even their underwear, and they frantically and excitedly threw their underwear and danced wildly in the stands. The Flamingo team clearly suffered a major blow, with tactical missteps and a collapse of the mentality of the whole crew. They were like defeated roosters, slumped on the green field, holding their heads and crying. At one point, Flamingo's head coach and assistant coach fainted. Chen Fong, on the other hand, was abandoned by his teammates. The staff did their best to keep the fans in order. After all, the players have not yet left the game, and if the fans are too excited, it may cause incalculable consequences. The staff stepped forward to advise the shirtless female fans, telling them to quickly put on their clothes and not let the ugly style permeate the arena. Who knew that these female fans not only did not listen, but when the staff Chen went to the stands, they rushed towards the arena. That's right. They want to embrace the Samba king in their hearts, Chen Fong. The situation was suddenly chaotic and uncontrollable. Countless female fans followed suit and ran to the arena. Before Chen Fong could react, several stunning female fans hugged him and then kissed Chen Fong frantically. Chen Fong only felt a burst of aroma rushing to his face, followed by a pair of warm nephrite fragrances hugging him. Big thing. Before Chen Fong could sigh, the crazy female fans threw him to the ground. That situation is a mess into a pot of porridge. If it weren't for Chen Feng's overlord body protection, it is estimated that he would be crushed by these crazy female fans. In the end, the organizers had to send in the police to maintain order, and under the sticks, the female fans reluctantly left the stadium. After they left, Chen Fong struggled to get up from the ground, and his face and neck were all covered with colorful lip prints. Seeing this scene, Xiao He and Walter and other teammates laughed one after another. Chen, this kind of treatment is only you can enjoy. We can't enjoy it if we want to. That's it, these female fans are all amazing, you just steal the fun. Don't pretend to be very disgusted, I really haven't seen this kind of blessing until now. Yes, even if it is Messi and Ronaldo, I have never seen them have this kind of treatment. Aha, the teammates constantly joked about Chen Fong. Chen Fong smacked his lips and wanted to cry without tears. He has the body of an overlord and can completely resist, but he really can't bear to sweep the interest of female fans. Since they are so happy, let's satisfy them once, and he won't be hurt anyway. But I didn't expect these female fans to be so bad. His clothes were almost torn. He is now only worried about Lrina in the stands, and I don't know if Lrina will be jealous. At this moment, a person hugged her again, and a familiar fragrance came to her face. Lrina. Chen Fong waited for this moment for too long, and he not only hugged Lrina tightly. Chen, I'm really happier than anyone to see you win the championship, but you also know that I can't run away from them, otherwise I will definitely throw myself into your arms at the first time. Aren't you angry? Chen Fong asked awkwardly. Angry? No, not only am I not angry, I'm happy that you are so popular. Be proud. Chen Fong smiled instantly when he heard this. He thought that he was in the Dragon Country, and the difference in thinking between Brazilian girls and Dragon Country girls was quite big. After a few minutes of hugging, the staff signaled that the players should leave the field as they cleaned the field. Chen Fong then took Lrina's hand. As soon as he appeared, Chen Fong was immediately surrounded by Brazil's top media reporters, and countless microphones were piled up in front of Chen Fong. Chen, in the two matches between the first leg and the second leg, are you satisfied with your performance? It's satisfying, it's done what I have to do, and I didn't disappoint my teammates and coaches. Chen Fong replied indifferently. Are you satisfied with flamenco tactics? What is the real reason why they lost the game in your opinion? Chen Fong thought for a while and said, the whole Flamingo team performed very well, and they put me under a lot of pressure at one point. It may be bad luck so lost. I hope they keep up the good work and win the Copa do Brasil trophy next year. Next year? Do you mean that you will not be racing in Brazil next year? I can't give you a definite answer for future things, sorry. Chen Fong replied gracefully. At this moment, he clearly played the characteristics of the humble and easygoing character of Orientals. Are you looking forward to the award ceremony in a month? I'm still looking forward to it. I want to see how many awards I can get. After saying that, Chen Fong grinned. If he guessed correctly, the individual awards of the Brazil Cup would have been won by him without suspense. Golden Globe Award, Golden Boot. If it is you, what do you want to do the most? Chen Feng smiled. I want to go back to Dragon Country to see my parents. Oh, it's filial piety. How would your mom and dad feel if they saw your game? It should be frightening. They will definitely say how this kid looks exactly like their son. Ha ha ha. Chen Feng's answer made all the reporters present laugh. After the interview, Chen Fong took Lrina's hand and returned to the lounge. At this moment, Lrina's first title in the Copa Brazil, coupled with Chen Feng's incomparable skills, completely skyrocketed the strength and influence of Londrina's team to the second place in the Brazilian team. First place is Santos, who has just won the Copa Liberation. Countless sponsors rushed towards Londrina. Many top clubs in Europe have also begun to pay attention to Chen Fong, and some clubs have the intention to risk Chen Fong through research. P.S. The second episode of 5,000 Words is coming, and there will be another episode later. Episode 59, the male model in the Brazil Cup? Chen Fong was shocked. Fans who watch the live broadcast should always remember this day. Chen Fong is the first Chinese player to win the Copa de Brazil. He is Chinese, proud, and he led Londrina, who was last season in the second division. They are facing the Baja Liga, the runners-up of the last Bundesliga. At this moment, I'm sure all the fans are as excited as I am. Let's remember this day forever. Let history remember this day forever, Lu Qi, the commentator of the Dragon Kingdom, said excitedly, and in the end, he even had a snagging for a while. Countless fans excitedly dominated the screen. Although many of them are angrily saying that Chen Fong is a Brazilian, most fans can understand. After all, Chen Fong was born in Brazil, his mother is Brazilian, and it is understandable to become a Brazilian nationality. What's more, Chen Fong has lived in the Dragon Kingdom with his parents for 11 years, and I believe that he has a deep affection for the Dragon country. If the football environment is like Brazil, and the national pawn is also contending, then Chen Fong does not need to be separated from his parents and run so far to Brazil to play football. In Mato Grosso, when he learned that Chen Feng's Londrina had won the Copa Brazil in one fell swoop, his uncle's family hugged each other excitedly, and then spent a lot of money to invite his friends to a bar to drink and celebrate. As a farmer, my uncle's family had a rich economy, extensive contacts, and also made friends with many local nobles. These people were all invited by him to the bar. Alice, I'm at the XXX bar right now, can you bring Chen Fong over to celebrate together? The uncle dialed Alice, who was far away in Londrina, and said excitedly, Dad, where does my cousin have time now? Their club is celebrating in a few days. Alice laughed. So when are you going to come back? Tomorrow morning. Pay attention to safety, the bad guys outside like you, the most beautiful little girl with fine skin and tender flesh. Okay, I know, I'm so old, you still think I'm a little girl. You will always be the baby girl who doesn't grow up in front of daddy. By the way, that black man. The father's desire stopped, but Alice understood in an instant, and said speechlessly, Dad, Xiao Hei and I are really just ordinary friends. Besides, he already has a girlfriend, Sandra, who has been to my house a few times. Do you still have an impression? When my father heard this, he immediately laughed and said, That's good, that's good. Dad is only worried about you. After all, you are still a student, you should focus on your studies. Moreover, blacks, it really doesn't fit. Hearing her father's care for her, Alice showed a warm smile. Since childhood, her father has been the most powerful hero in his heart. Alice, are we staying at the hotel all the time? Sarana on the side, Sandra looked at Alice helplessly. The three of them had been waiting for Chen Fong and Xiao Hei in the hotel, but they never came, and the club celebration took too long. It's been waiting for 3 hours. How about we go straight to their club? What do you think? I also know their coach Koscielny and believe he won't stop us, Alice suggested. I agree. I agree too. The three of them immediately cleaned up simply, put on their makeup, and then hurried to the club. When they came to the door, the security guard inquired, then dialed Chen Feng's phone, and after learning that they were all Chen Feng's friends, he let them in. The entire Londrina squad, including the first and second teams, as well as the youth team, was celebrating. These include the U18 echelon from the Dragon Kingdom. Head coach Niao Shufeng walked up to Chen Fong with a wine glass. Chen Fong, I'm really happy for you. As he spoke, Niao Shufeng's eyes actually had a trace of tears. In his eyes, Chen Fong was an authentic Dragon countryman. In the top field in Brazil, Chen Feng's talent and skills have surprised him again and again, and also surprised the whole Brazil. Coach, I should thank you. If you hadn't been willing to bring me to Brazil Academy, I wouldn't have had the chance to sign with Londrina, let alone where I am today. Chen Fong said gratefully, No, don't get me wrong, I was really entrusted by your father at first. He is my best brother, and I will definitely not refuse him. At the beginning, I had the same idea as your father, let you voluntarily give up the idea of playing football and return to China as soon as possible to study, but now you've completely conquered me with your skills. Even if your father does not support you, I will definitely support you. Keep playing, and you will reap all the glory. Niao Shufeng encouraged Chen Fong Dao. Thank you, coach. After the two clinked glasses, Chen Fong put down the wine glass and gave Niao Shufeng a big hug. The one-year youth training of the U18 echelon is about to end, and Niao Shufeng will also return to China with the U18 echelon members. Thinking of this, Chen Fong was very reluctant, but parting is the norm in life. Niao Shufeng was helpless in his heart, mocking himself for being too incompetent. When he came to Brazil with the best youth training team of the Dragon country, the U18 echelon, he thought that through this year's youth training, Londrina would always look at one, right? As long as you sign one, even if you play in the Bahia League in Brazil, it is the pride of the Dragon countrymen. But now none of the U18 echelons have been signed, but an amateur high school student was signed by Londrina, and also shined in the Brazilian League, and even won the Brazilian Cup, which has the highest gold content in Brazil. I have to say that life is really full of all kinds of accidents. Chen, your girlfriend is here. Walter suddenly came to Chen Fong and whispered to him, Sarana? I almost forgot, damn it. Chen Fong slapped his head with self-blame. He promised that as soon as the club celebration was over, he would take Xiao Hei to the hotel to find them, who knew that there were too many things, and he forgot about it. Outside the door, Walter pointed. Chen Fong grabbed Xiao Hei and ran out the door. Seeing Sarana, who was slightly angry, Chen Fong took her into his arms, and Blackie hugged Sandra. I'm sorry, there are so many things, I forgot about you. It's okay, I can understand. Sarana smiled. You guys, well, I shouldn't have come, I don't want to talk about this big light bulb. Alice turned around and left. Unexpectedly, he was pulled back by Chen Fong, and gave her a warm hug. By the way, my little cousin, don't be angry, my cousin knows that you are happy for me, so I came here on purpose. Cousin, you can't forget me if you have a girlfriend. Alice pouted and said coquettishly, of course not. Chen Fong then invited the three of them into the door, and then introduced his teammates to the three of them. Their teammates invited them to the celebration. In the midst of laughter, the celebration ended at 1 a.m. The teammates were all drunk, and if Chen Fong hadn't had the blessing of the Overlord's body, he would probably have been drunk. Blackie and Walter were both drunk, and Sandra helped Blackie back to the hotel to rest. Cousin, you also drank so much wine, why are you like no one else? Alice looked at Chen Fong in surprise. I drink a lot, and this little drunk doesn't make me drunk. Let's go back to the hotel. The five men walked outside the club, took 2 taxis, and headed to the hotel. Sarana drank red wine at most, so she drank all the white wine. Alice is different, she is originally enthusiastic, outgoing personality, others toast, she does not refuse, now she is so drunk that she begins to walk around. After arriving at the hotel, Xiao Hei took Sandra into a room. Chen Fong took Sarana and Alice into a room. Sarana was busy changing Alice's clothes, and scrubbing her body language. Gag. Alice vomited again, but thanks to Sarana's preparation, she put a garbage bag next to her, and Alice sat up and vomited a large bag. Chen Fong threw the garbage bag into the trash can at the end of the corridor. After Alice finished scrubbing her body, she fell asleep. I slept deeply, and my breathing was very steady. This little Neezy, why drink so much wine? The problem is that you still don't listen to advice. Chen Fong shook his head helplessly. She is such a character, if you stop her, she has to be anxious with you. Sarana said. Sarana, let's go next door. But I'm afraid Alice will throw up again, or we will take a bath here first, and if she shows no signs of vomiting, we will go next door. Chen Fong nodded with a smile, understanding in his heart. Sarana went in to take a shower, and the sound of the faucet sounded. Chen Fong took out his mobile phone and opened the bib, but he didn't expect that he was actually on the hot search of the bib. Hashtag, the number of retweets also exceeded 500,000. It seems that he has caused a huge sensation in the Dragon Kingdom, although the influence teaches Messi, Ronaldo, and other world superstars are still a lot behind. But Chen Fong is already very satisfied. In his previous life, as a football player, Chen Fong hoped that one day he could win glory for the country. However, reality hit him hard. Because of the fake match, he was actually banned. Chen Fong opened the comment and watched with relish. One moment angry, one moment laughing, the other silence. Chen, what is so funny to see? After taking a bath, Sarana, wearing a pink, thin nightdress, walked towards him gracefully, plump. Apparently, Sarana was not wearing underwear. I'm looking at Bib, a social media platform in the Dragon Kingdom, and their comments are wonderful. Chen Fong said with a smile. Sarana came over and sat directly on Chen Feng's lap, and then hooked her hands around his neck. Then a pair of hot and wet lips came over. My cousin is still sleeping here. Chen Fong was embarrassed. You carry me next door. Sarana actually said coquettishly, this is not her previous style. After thinking about it, Chen Fong decisively picked up Sarana and went to the next door. Early the next morning, Alice woke up sleepily, looked around in confusion, was empty, and shouted, Sandra? Sarana? No response was heard. Alice was furious, these two unconscionable guys actually abandoned me. After getting up and getting dressed, Alice went next door and banged on the door. Xiao Hei and Sandra hurriedly got up, and after pulling the door open, Alice said angrily, Sandra, Nico with no conscience, actually abandoned me. On the other side, Chen Fong and Sarana also got up to open the door, and saw Alice's annoyed look, and the two were extremely embarrassed. The next scene completely shocked everyone. You guys hurry up and give me a baby. I want to be a godmother, otherwise I will be anxious with you. The words have been spoken. Chen Fong, Sarana, Xiao Hei, Sandra burst into laughter. Since Chen Fong had promised Alice, he would follow them to his uncle's house after the game, and his uncle's family was waiting to celebrate him. The group flew to Mato Grosso, and the uncle's family gave Chen Fong a big hug and a long blessing. Grandma kissed Chen Feng's forehead, and said with kind eyes, Chen, keep up the good work, one day you will become the brightest superstar in Brazil. After Chen Fong and Xiao Hei reluctantly said goodbye, the two returned to the club. As soon as he arrived at the club, someone behind him called him, Chen. can you sign my name? Chen Fong looked back and saw a woman in a suit with a strong spirit smiling at him. The women's profession is full of fan. Black trousers show a perfect slender body curve, and there is a pair of very dexterous and delicate beautiful eyes under her beautiful face. This is the club, outsiders are not allowed, there is the exit. Chen Fong thought that it was a female fan who had strayed into the club, and was secretly blaming the security guard for not being serious. With that, Chen Fong walked towards the lounge. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the lounge and wanted to talk to Xiao He and Walter for a few words, Marcelo, the general manager of Figure Group, called. Chen Fong was a little puzzled, but still answered the phone. Manager Marcelo. Chen Fong, are you back to the club? Marcelo asked, since the Copa Brazil has just ended, today is a free training day, the coach will not come to supervise, and many players will take the opportunity to go home. After all, the players also need to relax properly. Chen Fong was stunned for a moment and said, I'm already in the club. That's right, I have a very important matter that needs you to come to the club office building. Okay. Chen Fong hung up the phone and walked towards the office building with a confused look. General manager Marcelo has never called him, he has been at the club for a year, this is the first time. Chen Fong came to the office building and knocked on Mazzalo's office. Please come in. As soon as he entered the door, Chen Fong was stunned. Next to Marcelo, there was a stunning and elegant woman, who seemed to be talking about something with Marcelo. Marcelo is surprisingly enthusiastic and has a smile on his face. You must know that Marcelo has always had a serious boss face. Chen Fong, let me introduce you. No thanks. The woman interrupted, it's not the first time Chen and I have met. Oh? Do the two know each other? Marcelo was deeply surprised and looked at Chen Fong with a puzzled expression. Chen Fong then discovered that this woman was the woman who had just been driven by him in the club, and he said with an embarrassed expression, no, I'm sorry, I don't know. It's okay, you're right, I'm your fan, I was there the last Copa Brazil final, and... The woman paused slightly, as if realizing that the next words should not be said publicly. Marcelo on the side listened more and more confused. In this way, let me introduce you, this lady is Laura, the general manager of Adidas Brazil. This is our first striker, Chen Fong. Chen Fong was shocked in his heart after hearing this time it was a shame, he didn't expect this woman to be so big. Adidas is a world-famous luxury brand, no wonder Laura is full of professional fan. Since Chen Fong is here, let's talk straight to the point. Recently we wanted to pick a star as a spokesperson, and the requirement was to win the Copa Brazil. How, are you interested? When Chen Fong heard this, he panicked for a while. Spokesman? My mother, this surprise is too big. Marcelo listened with a confused face. What is the requirement for the star who won the Copa de Brazil? This doesn't indicate Chen Fong. Marcelo is an old fritters in the workplace, and it can be seen at a glance that Laura appreciates Chen Fong very much. If you can cooperate with luxury brands like Adidas, not only can Chen Feng's popularity be further improved, but Lrina's brand influence will also be greatly improved. How can I? Chen Fong was a little unbelievable. It's not you, because you're the only male model in the Copa Brazil, and you've been shocked for a long time. Episode 60. Comparable to Ronaldo, Chen Fong actually made the female general manager so attentive? Hearing Laura's praise, Chen Fong snickered in his heart. It seems that the appearance card of the system upgrade reward played a big role. What makes Chen Fong even happier is that his height is still growing, and if he guessed correctly, it will definitely be no problem to exceed 180 centimeters. As long as it doesn't affect the game and training, I'm fine. Chen Fong thought for a while and said, although the Copa Brazil is over, the Baja Liga has only not been long in coming, and the next goal is to win the Bundesliga title and enter the European League. He has to put more time and energy into training. Very good, since you have no opinion, then we can sign a basic ambassador contract now. After signing the contract, you will immediately receive an ambassador fee of 5 million euros provided by Adidas. If the response is good, Adidas will sponsor Lrina before the next season. Preliminary budget, sponsorship fee will not be less than 10 million euros. As soon as these words came out, Marcelo's eyes widened with excitement. Laura didn't say she would sponsor Lrina. You must know that Lrina has been swimming in the second league before, and there are very few sponsors willing to sponsor the team. Later, on the verge of bankruptcy, Figure Group took over and saved Lrina. There has to be a return on the investment. Marcelo didn't expect the return to come so quickly, and he once thought that Coach Cazzioli had made a wrong decision to sign Chen Fong. It's embarrassing to think about it now. As a world-renowned luxury brand, Adidas has always been a bellwether of sponsorship. After all, such a big brand often has a unique vision. Once Adidas is willing to sponsor Lrina, the annual transfer money will become very substantial and will greatly increase Lrina's popularity, while also attracting the attention of other sponsors. Marcelo seems to see the money rolling in. Subsequently, Chen Fong also signed his name on the contract. In this way, our cooperation officially began. Chen Fong, welcome to become our ambassador. Laura stretched out her right hand with a smile. Thank you. Chen Fong clenched it. Chen, you go outside and wait for me first, and then you will return to the company with me. We need to test shoot a group. Laura said to Chen Fong. Chen Fong nodded slightly, and then walked out of the office building. As soon as Chen Fong walked on the front foot, Marcelo asked on the back foot, General Manager Laura, with all due respect, can you tell me why you chose to sponsor Lrina? You must know that although Lrina recently won the Copa de Baselina, it is only this trophy. Lrina's previous record amounts to a blank slate. And Adidas, as a world-famous luxury brand, how could it choose to sponsor Lrina? As for Chen Fong, although he has been very popular recently, he has repeatedly shown in the competition field, but he is a rising star after all. It is said that Adidas should choose long-established stars as ambassadors, such as Messi and Ronaldo. I didn't choose Lrina, I chose Chen Fong, Laura said categorically. Marcelo smiled awkwardly. This answer, he actually guessed slightly. From the beginning, he felt that General Manager Laura had a good impression of Chen Fong. Otherwise, why was her gaze so warm when she looked at Chen Fong? As a veteran of the workplace and love scene, Marcelo still has this common sense. After saying goodbye to Marcelo, Laura walked out of the office building, and under the sun, Chen Feng's handsome appearance deeply moved Laura. Laura drove a top-of-the-line red sports car from Yijili, and after the two got into the car, Laura put on red sunglasses, and instantly looked like a different person, and said, "Chen, please sign my name. The book and pen are in the storage box in front of you." General Manager Laura, how do I feel familiar with you? Chen Fong said suspiciously while signing. Ha ha ha. Laura immediately laughed out loud, and while driving, she did not forget to cover her mouth with her hand to avoid gaffes. You guessed right. After the last Champions Cup final, the first female fan who ran to the arena to hug you was me, Laura said with an embarrassed look. When Chen Fong heard this, his eyes were so shocked that his eyeballs were about to fall. What the? The general manager of Adidas Brazil is actually his own fan. And he was the first to run from the stands to the stadium, driving all the female fans to run madly towards Chen Fong. It's just incredible. How? Surprised, right? In fact, after work, I like to watch football matches very much, and I am a fangirl. The blush on Laura's face deepened. Although as a general manager, she called for wind and rain in the workplace, but as soon as she got off work, she turned into a little fangirl, and when she saw Chen Feng's competition for the first time, she was deeply fascinated. Can't extricate yourself. After the second leg final of the Copa Brazil Champions Cup, she was excited to see her long-cherished star win the championship, so she rushed towards the court regardless of it, just wanted to give Chen Fong a big hug, and share the joy of victory with him. She didn't expect that her actions once caused the entire stadium to fall into chaos. Yes, it's quite surprising, and it doesn't match your performance today, Chen Fong said in confusion. You get hurt at the time, right? I'm really sorry, I didn't expect things to turn out like this either. Laura suddenly thought that so many female fans pressed on him at that time, she was forced to lie in Chen Feng's arms, and she seemed to be forced to kiss him. As soon as he thought of this, the roots of Laura's ears were red, and both sides of his face turned red into apples, and he didn't dare to look at Chen Fong head-on at the moment, for fear that he would see his abnormality. I'm not injured, I'm a player who trains every day. The two chatted for a while and then came to the group headquarters. When she arrived at the shooting floor, Laura found the group's best photographer and took a few pictures for Chen Fong. Unexpectedly, as soon as the photo came out, Laura's beautiful eyes flashed with surprise. Chen Fong was really too photogenic. Sure enough, it was amazing. It was so suitable for the spokesperson of Adidas. You know, although Chen Fong has good appearance and other hard conditions, he is either training or participating in competitions, and most of the time he wears jerseys and training clothes. But now, Chen Fong is wearing Adi's latest casual suit, plus a customized shirt, full of infinite masculinity and noble temperament. The figure is straight, the facial features are handsome, and the calm and powerful are comparable to Ronaldo. Even if Chen Fong does not become a star, he can make a name for himself in the Brazilian fashion industry. Although he is a player, in terms of image and temperament, he is not at all inferior to top male models. After seeing it, several videographers couldn't help but marvel. General Manager Laura, your vision is really unique and accurate. Laura smiled with satisfaction, and to be honest, she didn't expect the effect to be surprisingly good. Every time he saw Chen Fong, who was sweating profusely on the court, most people were conquered by his magic, soul, and gorgeousness, so they didn't pay attention to his appearance and figure. As the general manager of a professional luxury brand, Laura naturally has an eye that ordinary people do not have. He expected that Chen Fong should be very suitable, but he definitely did not expect that Chen Fong in the film would show far more than expected. Okay, there is no problem with the test film, ask Chen Fong to shoot a feature film another day. Laura explained. General Manager Laura, who is the person in charge of docking Chen Feng's affairs? The photographer asked suddenly. You must know that as a brand spokesperson, the group has a special person in charge for docking. After all, it involves a series of matters such as advance reservation, communication, reception, etc., which is also respect for the image spokesperson. Chen Feng's endorsement business is personally responsible for me. You guys just leave it alone, just take care of the film. As soon as these words came out, everyone present widened their eyes in surprise. You must know that Laura is the general manager, not to mention the busy business, known for being cold and decisive. They didn't expect that the general manager of the hall actually chose to be personally responsible for this kind of basic work. What kind of magic does Chen Fong have? Before that, Laura personally docked, or the last cooperation with Ronaldo. Adidas has cooperated with countless well-known stars, but the ones who can make Laura personally responsible are currently Ronaldo and Chen Fong. But Ronaldo is a world superstar after all, how can he Chen Fong? Just because you only won one Copa Brazil? The Copa Brazil is a top competition in Brazil, but globally, it seems a bit unqualified. However, as subordinates, they naturally did not dare to ask more, just did as they did and finished explaining. The time was already noon. Laura walked in front of Chen Fong. It's already noon, let's have a meal together. By the way, let's talk about cooperation. Laura said lightly, in front of Chen Fong. She seemed to become a little fangirl in seconds, and the famous cold decisiveness all disappeared. Since there is still something to talk about cooperation, then I will go. Although Chen Fong wanted to participate in training more, it was difficult to refuse directly. The two immediately came to a high-end restaurant. After sitting down, Laura asked Chen Fong if there was anything not to eat. Chen Fong shook his head and then Laura waved his hand and let the waiter serve the top-set meal. This high-end restaurant is downstairs from their group, and the group will come to this restaurant when it needs to receive VIPs, so they have already customized the sequential package. The waiter understood. Chen, I heard that your parents are in the Dragon Kingdom. Will you miss them? Laura asked with a smile. I miss it, but I don't have time to go back to visit them. Brazil's league system is special. There are so many games, I'm really busy. They know you're busy, you have what you're doing today. They must be laughing in their dreams and won't blame you for not going back to visit them. Chen Fong shook his head in disappointment after hearing this. They don't know yet. Don't know yet? What do you mean? Laura Lemon circled. At this point, the waiter begins to serve steak, smoked caviar, gilt-head bream, etc. Laura clipped a steak for Chen Fong. This is a gold leaf steak. It tastes good. You try it. Thank you. Chen Fong picked up the fork, forked the gold leaf steak, tasted it in his mouth, and then nodded with satisfaction. Unbeknownst to the outside world, my father used to be a player in the second division and was completely desperate and forbidden to play because he gave too much and did not pay off. But I loved to play football since I was a child. I played whenever I had time in school, and when I was in high school, he found out, and he sent me to Brazil in a fit of rage. My father's intention was actually to let me suffer a blow here, and then voluntarily gave up playing football, and finally willingly returned to the Dragon Kingdom to study for university. Chen Fong said unhurriedly. Uncle didn't expect you to be so talented? And then you hid from them and joined Lrina, with the current results? Laura was amazed when she heard this. I didn't expect Chen Fong to have such a story behind him, which was really too surprising. That's right, until now, my parents didn't know, and they hadn't seen my game. Otherwise, they would have called me long ago, to question me. It's not always a way to hide it like this. When are you going to tell them? After thinking for a while, Chen Fong said, if you can win the Beijia Championship, then I will tell them again. I'm sure you'll be able to get your wish. After dinner, Laura drove the sports car and sent Chen Fong to the club. See you next time. Laura beckoned to him. Chen Fong also beckoned and smiled. After entering the club, Chen Fong remembered, didn't Laura say that the matter of cooperation should be discussed? Why didn't you say a word about cooperation from beginning to end? Strange. Chen Fong was too lazy to think about it, picked up his mobile phone and opened his Twitter account, and was surprised to find that he was associated with a state. It turned out to be the publicity account of Adidas Group. The latest status of the account is released by Chen Fong in the afternoon shooting of several 26 groups of fashion blockbusters, but it is only a test piece. The fans of the following comments also exploded instantly, and it has been less than an hour since they were posted, but the number of comments below has exceeded 5 million. My god, is this King Chen Wu? I thought I was wrong. King Chen Wu actually became the image spokesperson of Audi. Incredible, incredible. Yes, I thought it was Ronaldo at first, but if I looked closely, it was actually King Chen Wu. Isn't Audi always very demanding of image spokespersons? The signings are all Cristiano Ronaldo, a world-class giant like Messi. Why did he suddenly sign Chen Wuwang? It also goes without saying that Chen Wuwang has already exerted a lot of influence in world football. I don't think so. At present, Chen Wuwang also holds a Brazil Cup championship, which is not enough to say that it has a lot of influence. I also think that Chen Feng's image is too handsome. I have always felt that he is super good looking, even surpassing the horse, but I didn't expect him to be so handsome. Yes, this is only a test film, not a feature film. I estimate that Audi will not lose money this time, and it is very likely to make a big profit. King Chen Wu is about to take off completely. Looking at these comments, Chen Fong smiled slightly. He didn't expect Laura's efficiency to be so efficient, so quickly sent out the test film, which is equivalent to a wave of publicity in advance, and when the feature film is released, it is estimated to cause an uproar in the Brazilian fashion industry. Back at the training ground, Chen Fong immediately changed his clothes, and after a simple warm-up, he participated in the confrontation with his teammates.